Chapter 2896. If it was the silver-horned female cultivator, she felt that she could not even think of entering the ancient coffin, let alone take the risk to enter it. For the Divine King to have such battle strength and crazy drive, if he doesn't die and successfully advances to the Dominator level, I'm afraid that he will be a threat to our silver-horned territory. The silver-horned female cultivator, who was hiding in the void, thought for a while. She felt that if Night Sorrow matured normally, he would definitely have a place among the dominators. He might even be able to reach a ranking that even she did not dare to imagine. While she was worried about her territory, the silver-horned female cultivator was not worried about her own safety. She could wait for the desolate beast army below to disperse before leaving quietly. Indeed, a golden cloud desolate beast has appeared. Night Sorrow, who was hiding in the ancient stone coffin, waited for a while. Indeed, he saw a golden cloud desolate beast climbing up from below. A smile appeared on Yishang's face when he saw the golden cloud desolate beast. Then, he started fighting with it. As he had already set up an array, the desolate beasts outside could not hear him at all. However, this made the loud heartbeat sound much weaker. There were still some loopholes. Outside, the Golden Beast Kings, who had killed the Golden Cloud Desolate Beast and started fighting for it, were also puzzled after the dust settled on the supreme level material. In the past, they felt that there would be more than one Golden Cloud Desolate Beast. If no one restrained it, the Golden Cloud Desolate Beast would wander around the restricted area until it was killed. And regardless of whether the first one was killed or not, the rest would continue to appear after a certain period of time. At this moment, they had killed the golden desolate beast in front of them. After waiting for a long time, no other beast appeared. This made many of the golden desolate beasts present puzzled. Listen, the heartbeat below seems to be much weaker. I feel that the existence below no longer has the ability to produce a large number of golden cloud desolate beasts. After waiting for a long time and not seeing any golden cloud desolate beast appear, the golden heaven-defying fire saber monarch said doubtfully. Among the desolate beast tribes, there were usually conflicts and fights. When they were fighting for resources, there were also fights. But since there were no resources in front of them, there was no need for them to fight. I think that might be the case. I'm afraid it will be difficult for us to obtain these resources in the future. It seems like the only way to continue advancing is to slaughter and plunder. The golden demonic rock's face revealed a ferocious killing intent. Golden demonic rock, what do you mean? Could it be that you want to attack us? The golden demonic rock was the strongest expert present. However, he did not possess the ability to fight against 10 people alone. After he spoke, some people became displeased. What I'm trying to say is that we should leave the forbidden area and kill some cultivators. You've all seen how arrogant the cultivators of today are. How dare you sneak into the depths of the forbidden zone and compete with us for the fortuitous encounter? The golden demonic rock released a ferocious murderous aura. At this moment, he was already infinitely close to the level of a higher ruler. His aura was extremely shocking. But there are a large number of supremes in the cultivators' territories. We can't fight against them. After the golden demonic rock spoke, the heaven-defying flame saber, who usually did not move around in the forbidden area, said in disdain. He felt that this matter was not reliable. There were no supreme beings in the forbidden land. They were powerless against the entire divine world. We don't have supreme beings, but their supreme beings never enter the plains. As long as we design a fake fortuitous encounter in the plains and lure a large number of cultivators out, we can kill a large number of Dominator Realm cultivators. The golden demonic rock revealed a sinister expression. You must have gained a lot from devouring those cultivators just now, right? Just now, when the golden demonic rock was chasing after more than 20 cultivators from other territories, it had devoured 3 higher Dominator Realm cultivators in a row. It had gained a lot of benefits and was vaguely about to break through to the higher Dominator Realm. Therefore, it was somewhat addicted. As for the golden demonic beast, the difficulty of advancing was much higher than that of ordinary cultivators or demonic beasts. After sensing the benefits, it could not help but plot against the cultivators. Hearing the golden demonic rock's plot, the heaven-defying flame saber said, "But for countless years, the plains have always been the territory of our 4 tribes. You occupy the better forbidden area. Now that the resources in the forbidden area are running out, you come out and compete with us for the plains. This is unreasonable." "What's unreasonable about this? We're not occupying your plains for a long time. We're just planning to lure cultivators here. After killing them, we'll return to the forbidden area. Or, we'll attack the tribes or other forbidden areas." The golden demonic rock smiled and looked at the other golden demonic beast leaders in the forbidden area. It asked, "What do you think of my idea?" Obviously, it was not only the cultivators in the realm of the gods, but also the tribes and other forbidden areas. It was natural that the golden demonic rock wanted to become a supreme being as soon as possible. The other golden demonic beasts present were also full of fighting spirit and were quickly persuaded. "Ha, it seems that the Dominator realm cultivators in the realm of the gods will be killed soon. What will you do when I see it?" The silver-horned female cultivator, hiding in the void and using a secret technique to observe everything, looked at the stone ancient coffin and gritted her teeth. If it wasn't for Night Sorrow, she would definitely have gained a lot today. She wouldn't be hiding in the void in such a sorry state like she was now. At this time, Night Sorrow in the ancient coffin had already killed 2 golden demonic beasts in a row. In total, he had obtained 4 skull-sized supreme being materials. If he could get more, he might be able to get a supreme being to help him refine a supreme being divine artifact. How could Night Sorrow not be happy? Moreover, the golden demonic beasts in the ancient coffin were still appearing. Just as Night Sorrow was thinking, another golden demonic beast that was even stronger appeared. After fighting with it, Night Sorrow obtained another large piece of supreme being material. With such a big harvest, even Night Sorrow could not control his joy. There are more. Just as Night Sorrow was feeling excited, another golden demonic beast suddenly climbed up from below. In terms of strength, this golden demonic beast was obviously much stronger than the previous one. In terms of appearance, it was even bigger than the golden demonic beasts that Night Sorrow had just killed. He knew that this golden demonic beast was very likely to be a king-level golden demonic beast. This golden demonic beast king is probably not easy to deal with. After checking the golden demonic beast king's aura, Night Sorrow immediately realized that this golden demonic beast king was not easy to deal with. And the facts proved this point. This golden demonic beast king was much stronger than the other golden demonic beasts. Chapter 2897. The upper Dominator rank golden desolate beast was something Night Sorrow couldn't fight against. It was almost certain that he had no chance of winning against it. Although Night Sorrow was confident in his own strength, he knew that the opponent in front of him wasn't something he could fight against. Actually, it wasn't just Night Sorrow who wasn't the upper Dominator rank golden desolate beast's opponent. The middle Dominator rank golden desolate beasts outside also needed to work together to defeat it. Because of this, after experiencing such opportunities a few times, these golden desolate beasts would relatively peacefully compete for resources. Otherwise, they would have fought to the death long ago. Ow! After the upper Dominator rank golden cloud desolate beast appeared, it attacked Night Sorrow while he was thinking. It was different from the golden cloud desolate beasts that had just appeared. These cloud desolate beasts relied on their instincts to fight in close combat. The upper Dominator rank golden cloud desolate beast's first attack was a soul attack. After being roared, Night Sorrow instantly felt his head explode and his entire divine ocean shake. It is indeed very strong. If I get rid of it, I'll definitely get more supreme grade materials. However, I'm definitely not its opponent. How can I get rid of it? Night Sorrow, whose soul had been shaken, thought to himself. However, including killing other people to obtain items, he had thought of all possibilities but found that he couldn't kill it. In reality, the cloud desolate beast in front of Night Sorrow was already the final opportunity this time. In the past, when a desolate beast of his rank appeared, many golden desolate beasts had to attack together to defeat it. Although the upper Dominator rank Golden Desolate Beast was only a small realm higher than the middle Dominator rank Golden Desolate Beast, there was a huge difference in strength. Very quickly, Night Sorrow found that not only was he unable to win, even staying alive was a problem. While he was thinking, the Golden Cloud Desolate Beast in front of him had already started attacking continuously. If I undo the formation, the Golden Desolate Beasts outside will definitely discover my existence. If that happens, I won't be able to survive. After encountering danger, Night Sorrow realized that he had no chance of winning against the Golden Cloud Desolate Beast in front of him in such a narrow space. Furthermore, he could not open the array formation and let the people outside know that he could enter the ancient stone coffin. As for the Golden Cloud Desolate Beast in front of him, it was clearly different from the others. It had self-attacking awareness and had no intention of letting Night Sorrow off. It was impossible to get out of the stone coffin. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow found an opportunity to jump into the hole in the ancient coffin. Night Sorrow jumped into the hole and immediately felt that he had entered a teleportation array. By the time he recovered from the dizziness, he found himself in a vast and empty field. In this wilderness, there was a lush green grassland. Within a radius of 100,000 miles, there was not a single living creature. Where is this? There is no Golden Cloud Mist Desolate Beast. Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to observe for a while, but he didn't discover any Cloud Desolate Beasts or other creatures. Furthermore, he couldn't sense anything with his divine sense. But soon, a terrifying heartbeat could be heard from underground. Bang! 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 That loud sound was like a heavy hammer pounding on Night Sorrow's eardrums. It was very uncomfortable. Could it be that the terrifying existence is underground? Has he surpassed the Supreme Being level? Why don't I go down and take a look? After the sound rang out, Night Sorrow immediately released his divine domain and virtue power to wrap himself up. In this way, the impact of the terrifying heartbeat was reduced by a lot. However, it also slightly reduced the degree of discomfort. He had no idea how to solve the crisis in front of him. After searching the small world in front of him, Night Sorrow didn't find anything at all. He also didn't know how to leave. He made up his mind and dug down. After digging down for about 10,000 miles, the heartbeat began to become even more terrifying. It shocked Night Sorrow's divine sea to the point that it began to tremble. But at this moment, Night Sorrow found that the golden heavenly halberd could no longer continue. He dug up an extremely hard metal. After carefully identifying it, Night Sorrow was shocked. It turned out that this was a large piece of Supreme Being level material. No way. It's so big. It can totally create a complete Supreme Being level artifact. It's just that I'm not sure if there's a blacksmith in the divine realm who can create it. After finding out that he dug up a Supreme Being level material, Night Sorrow immediately waved the golden heavenly halberd again and continued to dig. In the end, he found out that the Supreme Being level material in front of him was about the size of a city gate. Such a large Supreme Being level material, in the hands of a top blacksmith, could definitely create a perfect Supreme Being level artifact. However, Night Sorrow wasn't sure if there was anyone in the divine realm who could create a Supreme Being level artifact. At most, he could create a Dominator level artifact. Forget it. Let's not think about this. Let's see if there are other Dominator level materials in other places. Anyway, I can't find the exit of the small world. After that, Night Sorrow, whose ears were almost ringing due to the vibrations, immediately continued to dig. At the end of the digging, his ears were already bleeding from the vibrations. He couldn't take it anymore and gave up completely. Other than the piece just now, he found another piece of similar size. The harvest was indeed not small. As for that terrifying heartbeat, although the sound didn't become louder, the frequency had obviously increased by a lot. The frequency of the heartbeat was getting more and more rapid, which made Night Sorrow's heart palpitate. As he returned to the surface and set up a defensive array, the palpitating feeling weakened a little. In such an environment, 10 years' time passed very quickly. Night Sorrow still couldn't find the way out. Therefore, he began to study the Supreme Being level material in his hands and observe the rules within the Supreme Being level material. After observing for a whole 30 years, his understanding of the Supreme Being level material had improved a little. However, that was all. He couldn't use these materials to create equipment directly. These materials were something that he couldn't control for the time being. He couldn't even merge some of them into the golden heavenly halberd. Night Sorrow's cultivation didn't improve much in these tens of years. He was still a little far from the upper Divine King realm. As for those terrifying heartbeats, after it reached a certain level, it gradually became more frequent. That thumping rhythm was very similar to a cultivator's heartbeat. Could it be that the terrifying existence below has come back to life? Is this a blessing or a curse? Chapter 2898. If the terrifying existence below were to come back to life, the first person it would encounter would definitely be him. He had no ability to resist such an existence. Are you afraid? Just as Night Sorrow was pondering, a voice suddenly rang out in the small world. This voice was vast and majestic, and it instantly spread throughout the small world. Are you talking to me? Night Sorrow used his spiritual energy to sense for a while, but he could not find where the person who spoke was. You don't have to search. You can't find me. I am the origin of the Supreme Essence Gold World. The vast and majestic voice spoke again. At this moment, Night Sorrow realized that the heartbeat that originally existed in the small world had suddenly disappeared. He immediately asked, that terrifying heartbeat, is it yours? It is mine, and also the Supreme Essence Gold World. The vast voice rang out again. At the same time, a humanoid creature made of essence gold appeared in front of Night Sorrow. His appearance was clearly an imitation of Yi Chang. There was only a small difference between the two. I see. Night Sorrow thought for a while, and continued asking, you are the origin that was just born in this world. What do you think? What are you going to do? I am the origin, and also a sacred spirit. I don't know what to do. Can you tell me about this world? The origin of the Supreme Essence Gold World said blankly. He was a newly born sacred spirit. Although his strength was at the peak of the Supreme Realm, he had not experienced anything. It could be said that he was a completely pure soul. I don't know much about this world, but I can let you know the path that I have been on. Night Sorrow explained his experiences to the Sovereign Sacred Spirit. He could feel that the other party had no ill intentions, so he was very relaxed. So this is what this world is like. Everyone has to shoulder their responsibilities. And my responsibility is to protect this world. The Sovereign Sacred Spirit, who was originally at a loss, was at the peak of the Supreme Realm. After listening to Night Sorrow's explanation, he pondered for a while, and completely understood. He had his own ideas. I would like to ask, how do I leave the Supreme Essence Gold World? I want to return to the Eternal Supreme World. After the Sovereign Holy Spirit roughly understood what was going on in this world, Night Sorrow pondered for a moment before asking. He felt that since the Sovereign Holy Spirit was the origin of this world, it was like the ruler of this world. It would definitely be able to help him leave. I can let you return to the stone coffin, but I can't help you with anything else. The Sovereign Holy Spirit knew about Night Sorrow's experience and how he came to the Sovereign Pure Gold World. After saying that, the Holy Spirit continued, actually, when you were fighting against those cloud mist desolate beasts, I was the one who leaked out my aura. They were sucked into the ancient coffin and turned into desolate beasts. The next time the ancient coffin absorbs the aura, I can send you over. At that time, the lid of the ancient coffin will open by itself, and you can leave by yourself. What? The ancient coffin has nothing to do with you. Hearing the Sovereign Holy Spirit's words, Night Sorrow felt a chill run down his spine. Originally, he had thought that the ancient coffin was just the entrance to the Supreme Refined Gold World, and was nothing special at all. But now, it seemed that things were not so simple. Strange, very strange. In fact, the reason why I can become a Sovereign Holy Spirit is directly related to the ancient coffin. The entire supreme refined gold world is absorbing the energy of the ancient coffin, which is why there are so many sovereign-grade materials. The sovereign Holy Spirit explained to Night Sorrow. He did not know when the ancient coffin had appeared, but he knew that the supreme refined gold world was formed because of its nourishment. It seems like the ancient coffin is the most terrifying existence in the Forbidden Zone. After listening to the Sovereign Holy Spirit's explanation, Night Sorrow immediately became wary of the ancient coffin. At this time, the Sovereign Holy Spirit sent a voice transmission to Night Sorrow. In the ancient coffin, he originally wanted to say something, but he suddenly stopped. After 100 years, I will send you out. What's wrong? What is in the ancient coffin? The Sovereign Holy Spirit was about to say something, but it suddenly stopped. Night Sorrow asked curiously. However, the Sovereign Holy Spirit suddenly disappeared. No matter how he asked, he did not appear again. Could it be that there is a terrifying existence in the ancient coffin? Did they warn the Sovereign Holy Spirit? After the Sovereign Holy Spirit completely disappeared, Night Sorrow sat on the ground alone and started to ponder. When the Sovereign Holy Spirit said that he would be sent to the ancient coffin after 100 years, he started to think about how to leave successfully. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow said to himself, there are no desolate beasts in the supreme refined gold world. It is not realistic to increase my strength quickly. I should continue to study the sovereign grade materials. If he cultivated step by step, the chances of him breaking through to the upper Divine King's level in 100 years were not high. Night Sorrow continued to study the laws of the supreme refined gold world. He wanted to increase his strength as much as possible. After 100 years, when the opportunity opened, he would appear in the ancient stone coffin if there were no accidents. Night Sorrow planned to return to the Forbidden Zone in the midst of the chaos. He did not want to stay in the ancient coffin any longer. Time flew by in a hurry. 100 years passed quickly as Night Sorrow was immersed in his research. When he studied for 80 years, he smelted a fingernail-sized piece of supreme refined gold world into the golden heavenly halberd. Although he only smelted a small piece of supreme refined gold world, the golden heavenly halberd's offensive power increased by about 10 times. In the next 20 years, Night Sorrow had been perfecting the myriad Tao divine technique. While he perfected the Divine King's immortal divine technique, he also added a trace of sovereign grade laws. Furthermore, he added a trace of sovereign grade laws to the reincarnation 9 heavens arts. The Divine King could integrate a trace of sovereign grade laws. Night Sorrow had created a precedent. One day, he was practicing the new reincarnation 9 heavens arts with the strengthened reincarnation heavenly halberd. The Sovereign Holy Spirit suddenly appeared and brought him to the underground of the supreme refined gold world to bid him farewell. Before Night Sorrow could say anything, he felt his body being sucked into a tunnel. When he changed, he found himself in the depths of the ancient stone coffin that he had stayed in before. What is going on? You didn't die. When Night Sorrow appeared in the space of the ancient stone coffin, he found that the upper dominator grade gold cloud desolate beast that appeared over 100 years ago was still there. Not only that, when Night Sorrow was sucked into this space, the gold cloud desolate beast immediately launched a fierce attack. A palm fiercely slammed toward him. The palm released a golden light that lit up the entire space. What is on the coffin walls? Chapter 2899. On the walls of the coffin, there were many stone carvings. Every carving was a terrifying creature. Although Night Sorrow had only glanced at them with his sea serpent's eye, he was alarmed. He could feel that the 9 terrifying creatures carved on the stone walls were all living creatures, and their auras were even stronger than the Supreme Holy Spirits. They had already surpassed the Absolute Saint realm. Between the 9 terrifying creatures was a small stone coffin. It looked exactly the same as the one Night Sorrow was in. When he was fighting with the golden cloud desolate beast, the coffin's lid was still closed. Not long after, the coffin's lid opened on its own. As it opened, the space Night Sorrow was in saw the light of day again. It seems like the stone coffin contains a great terror. When the coffin's lid opened, the aura inside was extremely evil and powerful. Yi Shang was certain that the person inside was stronger than any of the supreme beings of the god realm he had ever seen. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow removed the formation he had set up in the coffin and rushed out of the coffin. In his opinion, even if he rushed out of the coffin, he would encounter many desolate beasts and groups of desolate beasts. That was better than staying in the coffin. Staying in the coffin gave him a feeling that he could die at any time. Even breathing was difficult. The instant he stepped into the ancient coffin, a sinister laughter rang out in his ears. "Oh no, there seems to be something extra on my body. But I can't feel it." After rushing out of the coffin, Night Sorrow didn't encounter the group of desolate beasts immediately. His position was completely covered by the mist. The group of desolate beasts was biding their time. Night Sorrow, who appeared near the many tombs, felt lucky. He also felt that there was something extra on his body. It made him feel very uncomfortable, but he couldn't feel it. After the golden cloud desolate beast appeared, it rushed straight down the mountain. It was different from how it usually did when it came to opportunities. Usually, the ancient coffin's descending opportunities didn't appear. When they saw the upper dominator rank golden cloud desolate beast appear, the golden cloud desolate beasts on the mountain and at the foot of the mountain immediately went crazy. They originally thought that there wouldn't be any fortuitous encounters this time. However, he didn't expect that he would encounter his usual final opportunity and immediately engage in a fierce battle with it. Although I hope to see what will appear after the upper dominator rank gold cloud desolate beast is killed, it's better to leave from the other side of the mountain. Night Sorrow, who had used the sea serpent's eye to see through the mist and the fierce battle, immediately left from the other side of the mountain. As most of the desolate beasts were in battle, Night Sorrow dodged a few spatial rifts and successfully left disorderly Burial Peak. Going down the mountain from the other side and leaving the mass Burial Peak, they were still in the forbidden area. Although all the desolate beasts had ascended the mountain, there were still terrifying spatial rifts. While avoiding the large-scale spatial rifts, Night Sorrow suddenly arrived at the nest of a desolate beast. It seems to be the nest of the golden demonic rock. Is this the egg of the golden demonic rock? The huge nest was obviously from a bird species. Under normal circumstances, Night Sorrow would not be interested in it. This was because everyone had their own spatial grotto heavens and could store all kinds of treasures. However, using his god's soul power to investigate the nest in front of him, Night Sorrow discovered 3 feathers of the golden demonic rock, as well as 3 eggs. The golden demonic rock seems to be the strongest among these gold desolate beasts. If its 3 eggs successfully hatch, I should be able to obtain a baby demonic rock, right? It should be raised from birth and can be cultivated into a flying mount or a battle pet beast. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow directly stored the nest of the golden demonic rock. Who dares to touch my child? Night Sorrow had just stored the nest of the golden demonic rock when the roar of the golden demonic rock came from disorderly Burial Peak. The golden demonic rock, which was originally fighting the upper dominator rank gold cloud desolate beast, split into 2, leaving one figure to continue fighting while the other figure chased after Night Sorrow. Although he used his spatial grotto heavens to store the nest of the golden demonic rock, the golden demonic rock clone could still feel its aura. The golden demonic rock's speed was clearly the fastest among all the gold desolate beasts. Moreover, it was extremely familiar with the Forbidden Zone, so its speed was not affected at all. Night Sorrow, who had fumbled his way in, was still a distance away from the exit of the Forbidden Zone when its speed was comparable to the golden demonic rocks. How dare you steal my child? Die, cultivator! I'm going to swallow you alive. After the golden demonic rock clone caught up to Night Sorrow, it roared loudly and transformed into a human form from its demonic rock form. It slashed a feather sword at Night Sorrow. This golden demonic rock has clearly advanced to upper dominator rank. After the golden demonic rock clone slashed out with its feather sword, countless golden feathers immediately shot toward Night Sorrow from the void. From the aura of this attack, Night Sorrow determined that the golden demonic rock had advanced to upper dominator rank. Normally speaking, it did not have the ability to fight against an upper dominator rank gold desolate beast. However, the current golden demonic rock was only a clone, so it was much weaker than the main body. After using the sea serpent eye to observe the feathers shooting out from the void, Night Sorrow immediately activated the Trestrimsa Heaven Battle secret technique and then used the mysterious dragon art to dodge. At this moment, Night Sorrow discovered that the mysterious dragon heaven roaming step was relatively less exquisite. There were many feathers that he could not dodge at all. He could only take out the strengthened golden heavenly halberd and resist. Die. You are like an ant. Even someone like you dares to plot against my son. Just as Night Sorrow was resisting the feathers in the sky, the golden demonic rock clone suddenly turned into 3 phantoms. They held a feather sword and attacked him from 3 directions. When these 3 phantoms first appeared, they were all dim and lightless. However, when they approached Night Sorrow, they suddenly released a shocking light that illuminated the gloomy forbidden zone. The intensity of the light caused Night Sorrow to lose focus for a moment. Divine Origin Trap Formation. Merit Trap Formation. In this short moment, even with the support of the Sea Serpent Eye, Night Sorrow could not see anything at all. Moreover, the light also covered his god's soul. He could no longer use his god's soul to sense the other party's attack. Night Sorrow made a prompt decision and set up a Divine Origin Trap Formation and a Merit Trap Formation around him to defend against the Golden Demonic Rock clone's attack. Boom! 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 The 3 phantoms of the Golden Demonic Rock clone attacked Night Sorrow's sealed space one after another, destroying the Divine Origin Trap Formation and the Merit Trap Formation. Night Sorrow was also sent flying. However, with the protection of the 2 formations, his injuries were not serious. This upper Dominator rank Golden Demonic Rock's ferocity is beyond imagination. Although it's only a clone, its strength seems to be stronger than the upper Dominator rank Golden Cloud Desolate Beast. I can't withstand its attack strength. Chapter 2900. The attack of the Golden Demonic Rock was completely different from that of an ordinary Golden Demonic Rock. It could already use some of its supreme power. Although Night Sorrow had also comprehended a trace of supreme power, it was still too weak in front of the Golden Demonic Rock. Profound Dragon Roaming Steps. Night Sorrow, who had already adjusted his state to the strongest, used the Profound Dragon Roaming Steps without hesitation and ran out of the Forbidden Zone. The clone of the Golden Demonic Rock saw that Night Sorrow was about to escape with its nest and the Demonic Rock eggs. How could it give up the chase? Moreover, the Golden Demonic Rock's speed was more outstanding than its strength. Night Sorrow was intercepted before he could run tens of thousands of miles. Do you think it's possible to escape from me? Hand over my children and I'll give you a chance to reincarnate. The Golden Demonic Rock threatened Night Sorrow with murderous intent after intercepting him. Hearing this, Night Sorrow was a little surprised. He originally thought that the Golden Demonic Rock was a desolate beast that only knew how to kill and thirst for blood. It seems that the 3 demonic rock eggs are very important to it. They should be my chance of survival. Night Sorrow, who was at a disadvantage in terms of strength and speed, thought for a moment and felt that his only chance of survival was the 3 demonic rock eggs in his hands. If these demonic rock eggs weren't so important to the Golden Demonic Rock, he felt that he wouldn't compromise at all. Thinking of this, Night Sorrow said, "If you attack me again, your 3 demonic rock eggs will be attacked immediately. You should know very well what will happen to the 3 eggs if you attack them." At this moment, the 3 demonic rock eggs were a little restless. Although they hadn't hatched yet, Night Sorrow could already feel their evil and bloodthirsty nature. This was even more serious than when he had first obtained the demonic rock eggs. In fact, when he first saw these demonic rock eggs, he wanted to destroy them directly. However, as the Divine King of Virtue, he couldn't do anything to these young lives. Therefore, he wanted to bring them back to his territory in the divine world and use the power of virtue to remove the evil aura from them. However, the upper Dominator rank Golden Demonic Rock avatar in front of him was too strong. It was impossible for him to safely take it away. Hand over my son and lair, and I'll let you leave the forbidden area of Disorderly Burial Peak. When the golden demonic rock realized that Night Sorrow had realized the importance of its 3 children, it immediately changed its tone. I wonder if a desolate beast's oath is useful. In any case, there's no other way. So be it. Hearing the golden demonic rock's words, Night Sorrow was somewhat tempted. He poured a strand of the power of virtue into each of the 3 eggs. He hoped that after they were returned, they would gradually be influenced by the power of virtue and become less bloodthirsty. He said, "Return your 3 sons. That's fine, but your lair will belong to me." Night Sorrow looked at the golden demonic rock and compromised slightly. As a father, he felt that he should return the other party's son. Hearing this, the aura of the golden demonic rock, which was originally extremely violent, immediately calmed down a little. He said coldly, "If you want to leave the Forbidden Zone, hand them over quickly." "All right. However, I'll only hand them over to you when I reach the edge of the Forbidden Zone. There's no room for negotiation. If you continue to attack, I'll kill all of them." After saying this, Night Sorrow rushed towards the exit of the Forbidden Zone. At this moment, on Disorderly Burial Peak, countless desolate beasts were fighting with the upper-level Dominator rank Golden Cloud desolate beast that had just appeared. No one cared about Night Sorrow at all. Therefore, after he finished speaking with the golden demonic rock, he used the Clam Dragon's Eye to reach the exit of the Forbidden Zone. When he reached the exit, Night Sorrow threw the 3 golden demonic rock eggs in 3 different directions. It was impossible to completely trust a desolate beast like the golden demonic rock. This was the only way he could think of to save himself. After Night Sorrow threw the eggs, the golden demonic rock's clone indeed chased after them. This golden demonic rock has killing intent. I still need to escape quickly. Night Sorrow, who knew that he didn't have an advantage in terms of speed, left the forbidden zone of Disorderly Burial Peak and immediately fled in the direction of the God Realm. At this moment, there was a bright sun floating in the void. Night Sorrow knew that it was the Golden Crow Supreme. A warm feeling immediately rose in his heart. He set up a concealment rune on his body and rushed towards the God Realm at full speed. Sigh. This time, more than 100 years have passed since I entered the Forbidden Zone. The time for the War of Providence has passed. Thinking about it, I really feel bad. I only hope that Brother Juan can get a good result. On the way back, Night Sorrow thought of the War of Providence and immediately felt very guilty. What made him feel fortunate was that he had given half of the Invincible Dominator's law and essence to the other party. This had preserved a trace of hope for the God Realm. However, if the God Realm's providence was very scarce, only by getting into the top 1,000 could one truly reverse the providence. The Myriad Sword sect might not be able to do it. Not good. The golden demonic rock has caught up. He can see through my concealment rune. While thinking, Night Sorrow suddenly felt the aura of the golden demonic rock. Originally, he thought that the other party wouldn't be able to catch up so quickly because he had set up a concealment rune for himself. No. It's about the golden demonic rock's nest and feather. If I give up these, I will definitely be able to escape successfully. After thinking about it, Night Sorrow analyzed that the golden demonic rock's nest and feather were on him, which was why the other party could catch up so quickly. If he gave up some of the gains in the Forbidden Zone, he would definitely be able to return to the God Realm smoothly. However, he didn't want to do so. He continued to escape with the golden demonic rock's nest and feather. At this moment, he was still a little far from the location of the God Realm. If it was a competition of speed, Night Sorrow would definitely be caught up. However, the golden demonic rock was chasing without any scruples. Moreover, it was chasing in a straight line between the two of them. It didn't dodge anything at all. Night Sorrow immediately thought of a way to deal with it. Soon, he led it to the sky above a primitive tribe. Seeing the appearance of such a terrifying desolate beast, the leader of the tribe immediately organized his men to attack it. Reckless fools. The golden demonic rock was originally extremely bloodthirsty. At this moment, in the process of chasing Night Sorrow, it was actually in a state of rage. Being attacked and intercepted by the people of the primitive tribe, it immediately erupted with ferocity and killed 3 middle-level dominators of the tribe in one blow. However, it neglected one thing, and that was that there were more than just dominators in the primitive tribe. There were also supremes. This primitive tribe had so many dominators killed in one go, so they immediately asked the supremes to come out. Soon, the clone of the golden demonic rock was destroyed. After destroying the clone of the golden demonic rock, the supremes of the primitive tribe immediately took out a palm-sized stone mirror. Chapter 29:01. Night Sorrow's figure was reflected on the stone mirror. His concealment runes were completely ineffective under the illumination of the stone mirror. The primitive tribe members could even see his appearance. The supremes of the primitive tribe then explained everything about Night Sorrow. Everyone, including the tribe leader, immediately gave chase. Why are there still people chasing after me? Night Sorrow, who continued to flee towards the territory of the god world, soon discovered the tribe members chasing after him. The ferocity of these tribe members was not inferior to the golden demonic rock at all. Moreover, more than 10 sovereigns had been dispatched at once. Among them, the tribe leader and deputy tribe leader were upper-level sovereigns. However, Night Sorrow used his divine sense to investigate. Night Sorrow discovered that these 2 upper-level sovereigns were much weaker than the golden demonic rock. They were completely different existences. Perhaps I can use some tactics to defeat them one by one. After fleeing for a while, Night Sorrow suddenly had the thought of fighting. Thus, he set up one trap formation after another in a valley. These trap formations all contained a trace of Supreme's power. It was something Night Sorrow had comprehended in the world of Supreme's essence gold. Those who kill will be killed. If you chase into the valley, then don't blame me. Night Sorrow, who was standing in the valley, did not hide at all. He sat cross-legged in the middle of the trap formation to recover his energy. Just now, he had been using his strongest movement technique on the road, so his consumption was relatively large. After replenishing his vitality with pills, he sat in place to recover some of his divine sense. At this moment, under Night Sorrow's deliberate waiting, the warriors of the primitive tribe had already approached the valley. He's actually recovering his vitality in the valley. Tribe leader, should we directly charge in and kill him? Standing at the periphery of the valley, the deputy chief of the tribe asked. No hurry. Let's observe for a while. I feel that he seems to have discovered us. Let's wait here for him. The tribe leader of the primitive tribe, Chi-Zhan, stared at the stone mirror in his hand and shook his head. In the stone mirror, he could even clearly see Night Sorrow's expression. From this, it could be seen how miraculous the mirror in his hand was. How can he be worthy of the phrase, wait here for him? The deputy patriarch roared indifferently. As he saw it, Night Sorrow was just an intermediate divine king. Even if he had some talent, there was no way he could defeat so many sovereigns. What you say makes sense, but this patriarch doesn't want to lose another warrior of the Chi Devil tribe. If he sets up a powerful formation and we enter recklessly, I'm afraid we'll lose people. After all, the cultivators of the God realm are extremely cunning. Chi-Zhan, the leader of the Chi Devil clan, said, then continued, we've set up magic formations around the valley, so he has nowhere to run. You don't have to hide. It would be best if you could scare him out. Yes, Patriarch. After Chi-Zhan, the leader of Chi Devil clan, gave the order, Chi Devil clan people immediately began setting up the magic formation outside the valley. It took about a month for the array formation to be completely set up. However, Night Sorrow did not move at all. He was still sitting quietly in the valley. Originally, he was recovering the power of his divine soul, but as time passed, he began to cultivate. Patriarch, he's cultivating in the valley and has no intention of coming out at all. What should we do? Night Sorrow didn't show any intention of moving at all. Chi Devil clan people outside the valley couldn't wait any longer. Let's wait a little longer. Chi-Zhan, the leader of Chi Devil clan, was obviously more patient than the others. Finished talking, he started to wait with the others. However, They had waited for 3 whole months, but Night Sorrow still didn't make any move. It seemed that he was going to cultivate in the valley all the time. Chi Zhan, the leader of Chi Devil Clan, finally couldn't wait any longer. He gathered his people and said, "Warriors of Chi Devil Clan, fight with me. East, south, west, and north, attack him from all sides." Yes. Everyone obeyed, then spread out and attacked Night Sorrow from all sides. "You're finally here. You're quite patient. But since you launched the first attack, you'll lose for sure." Night Sorrow, who was still sitting in the same place, remained calm and collected. Compared to those powerful beings in the Forbidden Area, Chi Devil Clan people couldn't bring him any psychological pressure at all. "Cultivator from the Divine Realm, today is the day you die. My Chi Devil Clan will peel off your skin and hang it outside the gate of our clan." After deciding to attack, Chi Ho, the vice leader of Chi Devil Clan, immediately yelled out, "Do you have this kind of ability?" Night Sorrow stood up indifferently, then looked at those Chi Devil Clan people who were attacking him from all sides. "Humph. Still standing there, you'll suffer in a while." Chi Ho yelled out again, then led his people and rushed over from behind Night Sorrow. When they rushed over, Night Sorrow didn't activate the Great Formation. Therefore, when Chi Ho and the others arrived first, the formation wasn't discovered. When the others saw that Chi Ho and the others had already arrived in front of Night Sorrow, they instantly rushed over madly. "Although I can't separate everyone one by one, I can still fight against 3 or 4 in a group." Although the Chi Devil Clan people were divided into groups of 3 or 4, Night Sorrow didn't find it difficult to deal with them. When everyone entered the range of the formation, he immediately activated the formation completely. While isolating the Chi Devil Clan people, it also weakened their strength in an instant. Basically, under the influence of the Supreme Law, the Chi Devil Clan's Dominator would be reduced by a small realm. An upper Dominator could only unleash the fighting strength of an intermediate Dominator. When Night Sorrow sparred with Myriad Sword Sect, he was only a lower Divine King. At that time, he already had the strength to fight against an average intermediate Dominator. Now, he wasn't only an intermediate Divine King, but he had also comprehended a trace of the Supreme Law in the Supreme Essence Gold World. His golden heavenly halberd had also merged with a trace of the Supreme Law. Therefore, his strength had greatly increased. Although he wasn't a match for an upper Dominator Gold Desolate Beast, dealing with these Chi Devil Clan people wasn't a problem at all. Night Sorrow, who attacked from within the formation, didn't encounter any difficulties at all. He easily killed all the Chi Devil Clan warriors. Moreover, he obtained all the spatial artifacts on them. However, these spatial artifacts weren't the main point. After killing the Chi Devil Clan warriors, Night Sorrow not only obtained a large amount of virtue energy, but it also directly advanced to the upper Divine King's level. Moreover, he also obtained a faint trace of the origin as a reward. Night Sorrow wasn't very excited about the fact that his virtue energy had advanced to the upper Divine King level. However, obtaining the origin reward made him instantly excited. He thought to himself, "This should be because Brother One obtained a good ranking for my Divine Realm territory in the War of Providence. Therefore, the Divine Realm territory's origin would bestow a reward. This is something worth rejoicing over." Chapter 2902. When he was still 10,000 miles away from Peace City, Night Sorrow saw the figure of the Golden Crow in the void. He shouted respectfully, "Lord Supreme, you've worked hard." The first time he went hunting in the Eternal Supreme Realm, he had been missing for more than 100 years. Night Sorrow felt rather emotional. The Golden Crow had been guarding here all this time, which made him feel rather respectful. Moreover, when he saw the other party, he felt very at ease. "Night Sorrow, you're finally back. Everyone was worried that you had fallen in the forbidden area of the Mass Burial Peak. This time, you have to leave a soul lamp in the City Lord's mansion. Do you understand?" The Golden Crow, who had long sensed Night Sorrow's arrival, spoke with slight excitement after Night Sorrow spoke. The Golden Crow was very optimistic about Night Sorrow as a junior. However, he did not expect that he would enter the forbidden area on his first hunting trip, so he missed the battle decades ago. Yes. Lord Supreme, it's Knight Sorrow's fault. I shouldn't have advanced rashly and lost the opportunity to participate in the battle for Providence. After the Golden Crow spoke, Knight Sorrow said rather shamefully. Knight Sorrow felt very guilty that he had missed the battle for Providence after obtaining the general laws and essence of the invincible Dominator. Ha! It's okay, you didn't miss it. You didn't miss the battle for Providence. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, the Golden Crow opened his eyes with a smile and said, with the valiant performance of the Myriad Sword Sect and Shao Tianxian, my territory in the Heavenly Realm has entered the second round of the battle for Providence. 20 years later, you will participate in the second round with them and strive to let my territory in the Heavenly Realm enter the final round. The battle for Providence is divided into the first round, the second round, and the final round. And it lasts for such a long time. Hearing the Golden Crow's words, Knight Sorrow immediately asked in confusion. He had thought that since he had returned 100 years later, the battle for Providence would have ended long ago. The battle for Providence involves the battle for Providence of tens of thousands of territories. How can it end so easily? The Golden Crow opened his eyes and looked at Knight Sorrow. He continued to smile and said, the first round is the last 4,000 territories in the previous battle for the chance to advance to the second round. Under the leadership of the Myriad Sword Sect and Shao Tianxian, my territory successfully entered the top 600 with only one Dominator falling. Such a result has not been seen for many years. In addition, a battle involving 4,000 territories took 100 years, which is already considered fast. Brother Wan and Sect Master Shao really did not disappoint. Yi Shang blushed with shame. Then what about the second round and the final round? While Knight Sorrow was sighed, he was grateful for the other two people's outstanding. At the same time, Knight Sorrow and Knight Dominator from the Heavenly Realm. A total of 3,200 territories have made it to the finals of the competition of Providence. The top 2,000 of the upper realm are exempt from the first and second round of the battle. Therefore, in the second round of the battle, there will be 200 places to advance each year. If my territory wants to reverse the situation, it must enter the final round and advance to the top 1,000. Only then can the providence of my territory be completely stabilized. Its origin will also gradually recover. After the Golden Crow patiently explained to Knight Sorrow, he said, hurry back to the Heavenly Realm City. There are many people there who are worried about you. Then I won't disturb you any longer. Knight Sorrow will take his leave. Knight Sorrow knew that Jing Yun and Wu Lingfei would be very worried about him entering the Forbidden Zone and disappearing for more than 100 years. After bidding farewell to the Golden Crow, he flew back to the Heavenly Realm City. He was in such a hurry that he did not even have time to check the spatial device he obtained from the Demon Chi tribe's warriors. After returning to the Heavenly Realm City, Knight Sorrow did not immediately rush to the City Lord's mansion or contact the Myriad Sword Sect. Instead, he went directly to the Genius Base, wanting to see Jing Yun and Wu Lingfei as soon as possible. However, what made Knight Sorrow smile was that while he was hunting in the Forbidden Zone, Jing Yun and Wu Lingfei were both in seclusion, trying to break through to the Middle Divine King's realm. They did not know about him at all. I'm worrying too much. Let's go back to the City Lord's mansion first. Jing Yun and Wu Lingfei were doing well, so Knight Sorrow did not have to worry about family matters at all and went straight to the City Lord's mansion. Coincidentally, in the City Lord's mansion, many Supremes were celebrating for the Myriad Sword Sect and Shao Tianxian. Most of the Paragons had already finished drinking. After all, the fact that they were able to enter the second round made them very happy. After all, in the last battle for destiny, the God World had ranked in the top 9,000, which meant that they were at the very bottom. As for the other sovereigns, they were almost drunk. Brother Yi is back. Knight Sorrow is back. He didn't die in the Forbidden Zone. The first person to notice Knight Sorrow's return was Murong Guides, who had not drunk much. After returning from the last hunt with Cao Ling, Murong Guides had been worried about Knight Sorrow. Moreover, During the celebration, everyone mentioned Night Sorrow and felt sorry for him. This made Murong Guides feel even more uncomfortable, so he did not drink much. The moment he saw Night Sorrow, Murong Guides immediately shouted. What? Night Sorrow is back. With Murong Zhenlu's shout, the people who were originally drinking and enjoying themselves all turned their attention over. Night Sorrow, you're back. And you have the aura of the Upper Divine King. Good. Very good. Seeing Night Sorrow's successful return, Zhu Feng's figure flashed and appeared in front of him. The other sovereigns and sovereigns also looked over. Before they could say anything, Xiao Tianxian came to Night Sorrow's side and said emotionally, "It's good that you're back, it's good that you're back. Next, you'll stand side by side with us. Sect Master. You and Brother Wan have worked hard." Night Sorrow was a little sad. After thinking for a while, he finally said 2 words. "Brother Yi, we also took a risk to advance this time. We still need you to turn the tide in the second round. Although the top sovereigns in our territory are not weak, we're at a disadvantage in terms of numbers." The Myriad Sword sect was also very happy to see Night Sorrow. After absorbing the laws and essence of ordinary unrivaled sovereigns, he had broken through to the upper sovereign level. Just based on his individual combat strength, he would definitely be ranked around the top 500 in the Eternal Supreme World. He was still very strong. As for Xiao Tianxian, although his talent was not bad, the resources he had obtained were average. He would probably be ranked around the top 4,000. However, there were only about 10 sovereigns of the same age in the Divine Realm. There was a huge difference in numbers compared to other territories. It was very difficult to fight. Good. I, Night Sorrow, swear. I will break through to the Upper Divine King as soon as possible and bring the Divine Realm into the finals with everyone. Chapter 2903. Night Sorrow felt very guilty about his absence in the first round of the Battle of Providence, so he made a vow directly. After Night Sorrow spoke, Sovereign White Tiger said with a serious expression, "It's our incompetence. We don't have the ability to obtain a ranking in the Supreme Level Battle of Providence, so we've brought you great pressure. However, this Battle of Providence involves the life and death of the realm of the gods. I hope you can shoulder this responsibility. We will definitely not disappoint you." After Sovereign White Tiger finished speaking, several Dominator cultivators of the right age, including Myriad Sword Sect and Xiao Tianxian, shouted with confidence. Although the goal was not easy to achieve, they were willing to shoulder this responsibility. At this time, Sovereign Black Tortoise, who rarely spoke, said, "You have to remember that behind you is the entire realm of the gods, and thousands of family members. But other than that, you have to remember that you are yourself. In a situation where there is no way to improve further, you can choose to give up and save your own life. With you around, the realm of the gods has a future." The older generation had defended the realm of the gods for so many years, but now they gradually felt powerless. Because their potential had been fully excavated, it was not realistic to want to continue improving. If not for this, the city lord of the realm of the gods would not have gone missing while looking for opportunities. Now that the realm of the gods had lost the support of top fighting forces, the nearby territories were becoming more and more presumptuous. These older supreme beings were actually under a lot of pressure. They were not afraid of dying in battle, but they were afraid that one day, the realm of the gods would be destroyed, leading to the destruction of the realm of the gods. Sovereign Black Tortoise, don't worry. We will do our best to improve our strength and then obtain a good ranking in the Battle of Providence. Night Sorrow could hear the helplessness in Sovereign Black Tortoise's words. He looked at everyone present and comforted them. Although these supreme beings in front of him were very strong, compared to the supreme beings of the other territories, they were not strong at all. There were some things that they were powerless to do. We all believe in you, Night Sorrow. You are the child of destiny that we have deduced. The realm of the gods will rise again one day. Once. Our territory in the god world is strong. The supreme being of the Horn clan drank a cup of wine and called Night Sorrow and the others in front of him. He said, "Our territory in the God realm is not ranked at all. But we were once glorious. Follow me." The Horn Clan's supreme being. Don't do that." Supreme Ancestral Dragon hurriedly stopped him when he saw the Horn Clan's supreme being's reaction. He knew exactly what the other party wanted to do. It doesn't matter. I was about to die anyway. Let's make one last contribution to the God realm." The Horn Clan's supreme being stroked Cao Linger's hair. Then, he said excitedly, "Let this old man bring you all to witness the glory of the God realm in the past. Burning divine blood, memory of eternity." Before anyone could stop him, the horned race's supreme being roared, and his body began to burn. After the Horn Clan's prime being's body was set ablaze, the yuan qi of the world immediately changed. Something that had happened in the ancient era suddenly appeared in the sky. In the ancient era, the God realm was incomparably glorious. It was ranked in the top 20 of the entire eternal supreme world. Especially under the leadership of Supreme Longevity, it rushed to the 12th place. And according to the momentum, it was very likely that the God realm would rush into the top 10. Because Supreme Longevity was already showing signs of breaking through the Supreme Realm and creating a new realm. However, dozens of top Supremes who did not want to see Supreme Longevity become the number one person in the Eternal Supreme World attacked Supreme Longevity together in the Supreme Space. They were surrounded by dozens of top Supremes. Although Supreme Longevity was amazing, how could he be a match for so many Supremes? He was killed on the spot, and even his divine soul was crushed. After the God Realm's pillar fell, the top 30 territories all began to attack the God Realm. They continuously attacked the Supremes of the God Realm, causing most of them to fall in the Supreme Space. In just 10,000 years, the God Realm's ranking fell from 12th place to over 8,000. From then on, they could not recover. It was only when the God Realm's ranking fell to over 9,000 that the territories completely stopped. If not for the fact that the God Realm's territory had received a lot of providence back then, it would have been out of providence long ago. Bastards! All of these territories deserve to die. I didn't expect them to be so shameless. After watching the scene of the Horned Supremes burning their life force to summon, Master Myriad's sword was the first to roar. If Supreme Longevity of the God Realm's territory had not been besieged back then, he would have very likely become the first genius in the Eternal Supreme World to break through to the Supreme Realm. In that case, he would definitely be invincible in the Eternal Supreme World, and the God Realm's territory would probably become the number one territory. Xiao Tianquan's eyes were a little red. He choked out, "We will protect the God Realm and let it bloom in the Eternal Supreme World again, no matter what difficulties and setbacks we encounter." Then, everyone understood. Although Xiao Tianquan's ancestor was not the Supreme Longevity, he was the third strongest in the God Realm at that time. He was also besieged and killed by the Supremes of the other territories. Seeing his ancestor being besieged and killed with his own eyes, Xiao Tianquan's anger could be imagined. Although we don't have much ability, we are still willing to shed our blood for the God Realm. The scene just now also made Murong Ziliu emotional. Knight Sorrow did not say much, but he was also moved. After watching the scene of the Horned Supremes sacrificing their lives to summon, he felt sorrow and a strong sense of unwillingness. Even separated by thousands of years, he could feel the sorrow of the Supreme Longevity's death from the scene. At that instant, Supreme Ancestor Phoenix glanced at the crowd and said, "Fellow Nine Heavens Supremes, I believe all of you are aware that Knight Sorrow, the 10,000 Sword Sect, Xiao Tianxian, and the others are our only hope. This time, the God Realm needs them to fight with their backs to the wall. Now that the territory does not have many resources left, I hope everyone can contribute as much as possible." Yes. Although this request is a little excessive, we hope that everyone present can contribute to this battle for karmic luck. I will set an example for everyone. After the Ancestor Phoenix Sovereign finished speaking, the White Tiger Sovereign stood up from his seat. From the space, he took out a sparkling and translucent medicinal pill and handed it to Yishang, saying, "Yishang, this seat sees that you're between middle-level Divine King and high-level Divine King. I hope that you can break through to high-level Divine King as soon as possible. This pill is called the Immortal Essence Pill. I'll give it to you. It is used by sovereigns to break through small realms. It can help lower sovereigns break through to middle sovereigns, and middle sovereigns to upper sovereigns. Chapter 2904. Originally, the White Tiger Sovereign had searched for this pill for his nephew, Myriad Sword Sect. But now that Myriad Sword Sect had broken through to the upper sovereign level, he gave the pill to Night Sorrow. Although you are only a middle divine king, your true strength is not inferior to a sovereign, so you can take it directly. I only hope that you can break through to the sovereign level as soon as possible. With your divine king realm, no matter how stunning you are, you can't compare to those young people in the top territories for the time being. In fact, if it weren't for the rules, you can find sovereigns younger than 3 eras in some of the top territories. What? Sovereigns who have cultivated for less than 3 eras. How is that possible? Hearing the White Tiger Sovereign's words, even Night Sorrow was shocked. Cultivating to the sovereign level in less than 3 eras, this simply refreshed his understanding. Even Night Sorrow was shocked to this extent, so one could imagine how shocked the other sovereigns were. Myriad Sword Sect and Shao Tianxian were already unable to close their mouths. At this time, Night Sorrow continued, it's a good thing that they are strong. At the very least, it proves that if talent and resources are enough, it won't take too long to break through to the sovereign level. Night Sorrow will set them as his goal and work hard to catch up. There won't be more than 10 eternal sovereigns. You don't have to feel shocked. The resources they can obtain are unimaginable for our divine world territories. Apart from Night Sorrow, the other sovereigns who were younger than 3 epochs seemed to have suffered a huge blow. Ancestor Phoenix immediately comforted them. The 10 strongest experts of the younger generation came from the top 10 territories. Each of them was fully trained by the top 10 territories and enjoyed endless resources. Don't worry, Lord Sovereign. They are very far away from us, so we won't think about it for the time being. We will do our best to bring the best ranking for everyone in the future battle for Providence. This way, we won't let down the Horned Sovereign who left. After Ancestor Phoenix comforted him, Night Sorrow said this and looked at the Horned Sovereign. A man didn't cry easily because he hadn't been hurt. The Horned Sovereign's sacrifice made him cry uncontrollably. We will also fight for the Horn Clan. Master Wan Jian said firmly. Everything that happened just now was deeply imprinted in his mind, causing a strong fighting spirit to rise around him. I can feel your determination. Where is the determination of the Supreme Martial Artists? After Supreme Ancestor Phoenix said this, he took out the same Immortal Essence pill that Supreme White Tiger had from his spatial artifact and handed it to Shao Tianxian. This pill is exactly the same as the one that Night Sorrow had. You can split it into 4 portions and consume 1 portion every 5 years. Strive to improve your cultivation in the ruler realm. Thank you, Supreme Ancestor Phoenix. Shao Tianxian knew that this wasn't the time for pleasantries, so he immediately took the elixir from Supreme Ancestor Phoenix. The other autarchs also knew that the god world was in dire straits right now, so they began to hand over all sorts of resources. Every single one of them said that for the next 20 years, they wouldn't go to the Paragon Dimension. Instead, they would stay in the city magistrate's mansion and watch the 10 or so young sovereigns cultivate. 20 years was an extremely short period of time for the cultivators of the Eternal Supreme World. They had to make the final push. Otherwise, it would be difficult to achieve the results they wanted. As for the 9 geniuses who were focused on nurturing, each of them received an incomparably generous amount of resources. Although the god world didn't have many resources, they were sincerely trying their best. Supreme Martial Artists, Night Sorrow would like to ask a question. Is there a Supreme Martial Artist in the god world who can personally refine a Supreme Artifact? Since he was prepared to do his best to improve his strength, Night Sorrow turned his attention to the Supreme Martial Artist materials in the Supreme Refined Gold world. You have Supreme Martial Artist materials on you? Paragon Heavenly Treasure asked when he heard Yishang. I have some, but I don't know if it's enough to refine a complete Supreme Artifact. If the god world has a blacksmith of such caliber, Night Sorrow is willing to provide the materials to try. Night Sorrow looked at Autarch Heavenly Treasure and said. In fact, he knew that there weren't many blacksmithing geniuses in the god world. If that wasn't the case, there wouldn't only be a spatial artifact with 3 times acceleration. No one in the god world can refine a pure supreme artifact other than the city lord. However, I can refine a half-supreme artifact that's between a sovereign artifact and a supreme artifact. If you want to use it in the battle for Providence, it's completely enough. Autarch Heavenly Treasure looked at Night Sorrow and said. Hearing this, Night Sorrow looked at Ancestor Phoenix and saw him giving him a look of affirmation. He immediately took out a few pieces of supreme martial artist materials and the golden heavenly halberd that he had refined from his spatial artifact. Oh. The divine artifact in your hand was refined by yourself? It looks like it was refined from a golden wild beast and contains a trace of supreme martial artist laws. Amazing. It's amazing that the Divine King can refine it to such an extent at his cultivation level. In the future, Yi Shang, you'll definitely have some accomplishments in the field of artifact refinement. Autarch Heavenly Treasure took the Samsara Heavenly Halberd and materials from Night Sorrow and praised from the bottom of his heart. You flatter me, Autarch Heavenly Treasure. However, Night Sorrow won't give up on the path of blacksmithing. Night Sorrow said politely. Misery continued, then I'll have to ask Autarch Heavenly Treasure to refine a suitable divine artifact for Night Sorrow. It's just refining a half-step supreme artifact. It's not difficult for me. I can refine it on the spot. Autarch Heavenly Treasure smiled at Night Sorrow and started to refine the half-step supreme artifact in front of everyone. After being refined by Autarch Heavenly Treasure, the golden heavenly halberd was directly upgraded to a half-step supreme artifact, and the power of the sovereign increased by more than 10 times. Autarch Heavenly Treasure's work is indeed extraordinary. After being refined by Autarch Heavenly Treasure, the golden heavenly halberd became even sharper. Night Sorrow held it in his hand and performed a few spear techniques in front of everyone, which immediately made many people's eyes light up. Now that Night Sorrow's divine artifact had been upgraded, his combat strength had increased a lot. Some of the Supremes present revealed gratified smiles. As for the Myriad Sword Sect, Shao Tianxian, and the other sovereigns, they were a little envious, but they didn't say anything. At this time, Night Sorrow continued, if Autarch Heavenly Treasure still has energy left, Night Sorrow hopes that you can refine a half-step supreme artifact for the other sovereigns who are participating in the contest. If there are enough materials, I can naturally do it. However, it's not easy to find supreme artifact materials. When Autarch Heavenly Treasure heard Night Sorrow's words, he immediately looked troubled. It was true that he could refine a half-step supreme artifact, but he had already used up all his supreme artifact materials and didn't have any left. What Night Sorrow means is that I'll be responsible for all the required materials. Chapter 2905. What? So many supreme-grade materials. And they are of such high quality. They can be used to refine a real supreme-grade weapon. Seeing Night Sorrow take out so much supreme essence gold, Master Wan Jian and Shao Tianquan's breathing quickened. Even some of the Supremes could not stay calm. Most of the people present had never seen so many supreme-grade materials before. Ha! Night Sorrow is indeed a man of great luck. Seeing Night Sorrow take out so many supreme-grade materials at once, Supreme Ancestor Phoenix burst into laughter. However, at this time, he looked at Night Sorrow and said, Supreme Essence Gold is the common currency of the Supremes in the Eternal Supreme World. Are you really going to take it all out? Are you going to refine supreme-grade weapons for the contestants? Night Sorrow is willing to do so. After Supreme Ancestor Phoenix finished speaking, Night Sorrow nodded without hesitation. Then, he added, for now, the most important thing is to get through the crisis of the realm of the gods. If we run out of materials, we can find more, but if the realm of the gods is gone, we and the entire realm of the gods behind us will suffer. Therefore, Supreme Heavenly Treasure, please refine supreme-grade weapons for everyone. Night Sorrow, I am convinced that you can take out so much supreme essence gold so generously. From now on, don't call me Supreme Grade anymore. Just call me Brother Heavenly Treasure. Sovereign Heavenly Treasure said solemnly as he took the Supreme Grade materials from Yishang. Night Sorrow could take out so much Supreme Essence Gold. Not everyone had the courage to do so. Hearing this, Night Sorrow smiled and said, Brother Heavenly Treasure, I'll have to trouble you to do it for everyone. Ha! No trouble, no trouble. Refining so many half-step Supreme Grade weapons will greatly improve my refining skills. Maybe I can find a way to refine Supreme Grade weapons. Supreme Heavenly Treasure said with a laugh. Then, he looked at the other geniuses and said, What kind of weapons are you good at? Tell me. After you get the weapons, you have to fight for the realm of the gods. Do you understand? Many autarchs only have sovereign artifacts. The Myriad Sword Sect thanks Brother Yi. At this moment, the Myriad Swords sect was the first to bow to Night Sorrow. Last time, he had been able to obtain half of the Invincible Sovereign's laws and essence because of Night Sorrow's gift. Now that he had a half-step supreme artifact, his strength would soar once more. The gratitude he felt towards Night Sorrow was indescribable. Ha! I didn't misjudge you. Xiao Tianxian also cupped his hands towards Night Sorrow. After all, they were old friends, and he had even sent off Night Sorrow and Tianyun Bao, so he wasn't as courteous as the Myriad Swords sect. As for Murong Guidance and the others, their gratitude towards Night Sorrow was even stronger. He, Yuan Fengxiue, and the others all bowed towards Night Sorrow. To them, the value of a half-step supreme artifact was immeasurable. If they relied on themselves, they might never be able to obtain it. Esteemed autarchs, Night Sorrow still has one more thing to say. While Supreme Heavenly Treasure was refining divine artifacts for the many geniuses of the God world, Night Sorrow looked at the autarchs present and asked, I wonder, after the fall of the Supreme Longevity, were there any existences surpassing the autarchs born in the eternal Supreme World? He was thinking of the ancient stone coffin in the forbidden area of Disorderly Burial Peak. According to the autarch's original spirit, there might be existences surpassing the autarch in that ancient coffin. Yes. Of course. Back then, after the major figures of the top territories killed the Supreme Longevity, they divided up his laws and essence. Now, the strongest of the top 10 territories have already surpassed the autarch realm. The 10 of them all obtained the Supreme Longevity's laws and essence. Supreme Phoenix said angrily, Night Sorrow. If you grow and have enough strength, you must destroy all the top 10 territories to avenge the Supreme Longevity. Do you understand? Night Sorrow understands. Supreme Phoenix's words were filled with killing intent, but Night Sorrow didn't object. If not for the fact that the strongest of those territories plotted against the Supreme Longevity and targeted the God world wouldn't be in such a difficult situation now. Then, how much do the autarchs know about the forbidden area? Night Sorrow didn't directly mention the ancient stone coffin. He was afraid that if he did, the autarchs of the God world would panic. The forbidden area is simply too mysterious to us. But the sages of the past have instructed us not to wander around the forbidden area unless it's absolutely necessary. Seeing that the other autarchs didn't answer Night Sorrow's question, Supreme Ancestral Dragon said. All right. Yi Shang was clear on this matter. If there's nothing else, Night Sorrow is going to cultivate. I'll strive to become an upper divine king within 20 years. Night Sorrow first bid farewell to the autarchs, then to Xiao Tianxian, Myriad Sword Sect, and the others. Although he wanted to catch up with Xiao Tianxian, he knew that time was too tight. Thus, he directly returned to his own residence. After setting up a formation, he began to inspect the spatial artifacts he obtained from the Demon Qi tribe. The other items in the spatial artifacts of the Demon Qi tribe were ordinary, but the stone mirror in Patriarch Qizhan's spatial artifact was very special. When he touched it, he had an extremely special feeling. Why do I feel that the energy contained in this stone mirror is even stronger than the half-step supreme artifact in my hand? This is a completely unexpected gain. Compared to the golden heavenly halberd, Night Sorrow found that the stone mirror in his hand was actually stronger. What he didn't know was that this was the supreme treasure of the Demon Chi tribe. The autarchs of the Demon Chi tribe felt that a divine king wasn't a threat, so they sent Qizhan to chase after him with the stone mirror. It doesn't seem to be easy to make it recognize me as its master. I'd better cultivate first. I'll think about it after I become an upper-level divine king. There was no mark on the stone mirror at all, but Night Sorrow tried to make it recognize him as its master, but he found that he couldn't make it recognize him as its master. Thus, he put the stone mirror into his space paradise, then took out an immortal essence pill and swallowed it directly. He felt that with the strength of his body, he could completely withstand the powerful impact of this pill. After all, the impact it brought was only at the level of a ruler. It can really withstand it. When the elixir pill took effect, Yi Shang immediately felt as if his entire body was on fire. His cultivation base and the strength of his body also became stronger. However, the effect of the immortal essence pill was far more durable than Night Sorrow knew. It actually lasted for a full 15 years before Night Sorrow successfully absorbed it. And Night Sorrow also successfully advanced to the upper-level Divine King realm with the help of the power of virtue and the immortal essence pill. After passing the Divine King tribulation, Night Sorrow directly came out of seclusion. This time, he didn't want to miss it. Chapter 2906. When Night Sorrow emerged from seclusion, he found that the city lord's manor was bustling with activity, or rather, chaos. Something seemed to have happened. Night Sorrow immediately sent a message to Ancestor Phoenix to ask what was going on. After asking, he learned that the celestial immortals were looking for Ji Yun, who had poached in the divine realm. As for the people of the god realm, aside from Night Sorrow and Murong Guide, no one else knew about Ji Yun. Naturally, they didn't know anything. Naturally, the celestial immortals were enraged. If it weren't for the fact that the divine realm still had a sliver of destiny remaining, they would have attacked already. Supremes, where are you? I'll go take a look. I know what's going on with Ji Yun. Night Sorrow asked after finding out what was going on. Clearly, the celestial immortals were baring their fangs and brandishing their claws when they came to rescue Ji Yun. After all, Ji Yun's poaching was a despicable act in the Eternal Supreme's world, and a sign of disrespect to the divine realm. We're in the guest hall. Come over. However, the celestial immortals are very strong. Unless absolutely necessary, just watch. Don't interrupt. Ancestor Phoenix's tone was somewhat helpless. The divine realm was indeed weak at the moment. In terms of strength, it couldn't be compared to the celestial immortals. I understand. Yi Shang replied with a sigh of relief. However, he didn't say anything else. Instead, he hurried to the guest hall. They were very close. In a moment, Yi Chang appeared in the guest hall. The celestial immortals were brazenly threatening the celestial immortals. One of the dominators said with a dark expression, "If you don't hand over my brother, Ji Feng, we'll kill all the cultivators in your trash territory in the second round of the Battle of Providence. Leave none alive. Don't think you can avoid the celestial immortals. Our methods are beyond your imagination. Impudent. How dare a mere sovereign like you brag in front of so many sovereigns?" The myriad swords sect, Shao Tianxian, and other genius sovereigns of the divine realm were all in seclusion, trying to increase their strength as much as possible. Some of the sovereigns present were young, and their strength was average. No one was a match for Ji Feng, and the sovereigns were wary of the strength of the heavenly immortal domain, so they were very polite. When Night Sorrow rushed over and saw Ji Feng spouting nonsense, he immediately reprimanded him. To him, the other party's behavior of slapping the face of the higher-ups was completely unacceptable. What are you? Just a high-level divine king and also dares to shout and wrangle at me, Ji Feng. Ji Feng had a domineering look on his face. His father was standing behind him, and his strength was stronger than any of the supremes present in the divine world. Furthermore, he was one of the top 1,000 sovereigns in the eternal paragon world. I don't care if you are Ji Feng or Ji Yun, you will pay the price for offending the divine world. Don't think that there's no one in the God world who can stop you. Today will be the last time you act so presumptuously here. If there's a next time, you'll end up like Ji Yun, completely annihilated. Facing the unruly Ji Feng, Night Sorrow coldly replied. What? Did you kill my brother? Bastard, you deserve to die. Hearing Night Sorrow personally mention Ji Yun's matter, Ji Feng immediately flew into a rage and prepared to attack. Ji Feng's father's expression also changed greatly. They knew that Ji Yun had come to the divine world to poach. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come directly to the divine world to ask for him. Now that they heard that Ji Yun's soul had been annihilated, the father and son were completely enraged. What? You're unable to restrain your anger. I want to ask, if someone from the divine world poaches in your divine immortal territory, what will happen to them? Night Sorrow coldly questioned, then berated, let me tell you, the divine world is not something you can discriminate against. When we were glorious, you were trash. Now that we've fallen, you're also trash. There's nothing to be arrogant about. If you have the ability, then fight here. If not, then leave immediately. Don't think that we're easy to bully. So what if you're ranked in the top 1,000? You still have to participate in the second round. Bastard, you're courting death. I'll kill you. When Ji Feng heard Yishang's words, it was as if he had been set ablaze. He no longer looked as light as before. He immediately drew his long sword and prepared to attack. I advise you to be careful. Although the divine world isn't strong, it's not difficult to kill you. Supreme Phoenix Ancestor immediately berated Ji Feng when she saw that Ji Feng was about to attack Night Sorrow. Although Ji Feng's father was very strong, there were only 2 or 3 supreme beings from the divine immortal territory. The difference in strength between the two sides was huge. After Night Sorrow berated them, the supreme beings of the divine world seemed to have been given a wake-up call. They instantly realized that there was no need for them to keep showing weakness. In the eternal supreme world, the only thing that could earn one's respect was strength and battle. Showing weakness would only make one be looked down upon even more. In an instant, the aura of the supreme beings was completely different. Good. Good. Very good. Let's see how you're going to resist the attack of the divine immortal territory after this battle. Father Ji looked at Supreme Phoenix with a gloomy face and said, don't think that we don't know that the strongest person in the divine world has been missing for many years. There's no need for you to worry about the affairs of the divine world. Our divine world has weathered great storms and waves and still hasn't been destroyed for a long time. It's not something that you can destroy just because you want to. Send the guests out. Supreme White Tiger, who hadn't spoken for a long time, also habitually kept silent. After Night Sorrow directly chose to fall out with the other party, he also stood up. In addition, the other supreme beings all released a strong fighting spirit. For a moment, the aura in the Divine World City Lord Mansion was unbearable for many sovereigns. Very good. Feng, let's go. You should already know what to do in the second round of the battle for Providence. Father Ji looked at his son Ji Feng and said with a murderous look. Yes. Lord Father, your child will personally exterminate everyone in the divine realm. I won't give them a chance to struggle at death's door. Ji Feng said, then looked at Night Sorrow and said, you, a divine king realm ant, had better not participate in the second round of the battle for Providence in a few years. Otherwise, even wanting to die will be an extravagant hope. I, Night Sorrow, hate people like you who don't have courage and insist on pretending to be a wolf. If you really have the guts, then make your move now. What are you afraid of? Night Sorrow looked at Ji Feng and said indifferently, his body releasing an endless fighting spirit. He didn't fear the other party at all. Chapter 2907. Bastard. I'm going to kill you. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Ji Feng could no longer control himself, and a strong battle intent rose around him. If you want to kill me, then make your move. Do you think you can kill me with words? A superior dominator doesn't even dare to make a move against the Divine King, dilly-dallying here. How despicable, said Yi Shang with a cold smile. Ji Feng looked overbearing, as if he was unrivaled in the world. He wanted Ji Feng to understand that there was no room for him to show off in the divine world. Night Sorrow would not back down at all for someone who challenged the dignity of the divine world. Fine. Make your move then. If the supremes of the divine world have any manners, then don't interfere in our battle, Ji Feng said as he took out a long sword from his spatial artifact. This long sword was different from ordinary swords. It was not made of metal, but the bones of some kind of desolate beast. It looked very simple and did not emit any brilliance, but it gave off a very dangerous feeling. It's a good sword, bloodthirsty and cold, but you're dragging your feet. You're not worthy of it. Night Sorrow saw Ji Feng's performance and sneered, "You're facing the Divine King, and you're telling the Supremes present not to make a move. Are you going to tell the divine world to withdraw their luck so that it won't bring you any backlash?" In terms of battle strength, Night Sorrow judged that if he used a half-step Supreme's artifact, he could definitely fight Ji Feng without any fear. He was trying to provoke him into making a move. He wanted to kill him in front of the divine world and boost the morale of the divine world. Right now, the divine world's morale was too weak. A mere Supremes could run amok here with their son. This was a complete disgrace. Die. You ant. I, Ji Feng, don't believe that the Supremes of your trash territory will dare to make a move against me. Ji Feng was completely enraged by Night Sorrow's words. He disregarded everything and slashed at Night Sorrow. Very good. It's good that you dare to make a move. There's no need for us to send out Supremes to kill you. Seeing Ji Feng attack, Night Sorrow immediately laughed. He kept provoking Ji Feng with his words so that he would attack. But at this time, Ji Feng's father, Ji Junyang, directly blocked this move. He said, "A little impatience spoils great plans. Now that we're in the territory of the God realm, we'll suffer the backlash of Providence if we act rashly. It won't be too late to attack them after the second round of the Battle of Providence begins. Yun will not die in vain." Father. Ji Feng, who was stopped, looked like an enraged ferocious beast. You still can't tell. He is deliberately provoking you to attack so that he can defeat you with the help of Providence. If you make a move, you will fall into his trap. Seeing Ji Feng's state, Ji Junyang comforted him. Then, he looked at Night Sorrow and said, "It seems like you're the only one in the entire God realm. If you want to fight with Ji Feng, I'll fulfill your wish." As soon as he finished speaking, Ji Junyang left a mark on Night Sorrow and said, "This is a celestial immortal mark. If you participate in the second round of the Battle of Providence, Ji Feng will find you immediately. Lord Supreme, leave a mark on him too. This is fair." Night Sorrow knew that it was already impossible to kill Ji Feng today. Immediately, he had Supreme Ancestor Phoenix leave a mark on Ji Feng's body. Good. From today onwards, our territory of the God realm will not yield an inch of land to any territory. Supreme Ancestor Phoenix snorted and left a God realm mark on Ji Feng's body. This was something that others could not erase. After leaving the territory of the God realm, you will all become complete trash. The mark on my body will be your death warrant. Ji Feng, who was planted with a God realm mark, said disdainfully and left the territory of the God realm with Ji Junyang. Just as they walked out of the City Lord Mansion, Ji Junyang sent a voice transmission to Ji Feng and said, "Don't underestimate that divine king. His strength shouldn't be below yours. Or rather, with the help of Providence, he has the confidence to kill you. Otherwise, he wouldn't have kept provoking you to attack." Father. He's just a divine king. How can he be my match? Ji Feng asked with a face of disbelief. It's not impossible for a divine king to kill a ruler. The territory of the God realm was once glorious. Perhaps this divine king is the reincarnation of a genius. You must be careful when fighting with him. Is that clear? Ji Junyang said with a serious tone. As an outstanding figure among the Supremes, although he was not the number one person in the territory of the celestial immortals, he had always been in a high position and had a much higher outlook than Ji Feng. Sometimes, it was easy for people to form a stereotype. For example, Ji Feng looked down on Night Sorrow, who was at the level of the Divine King. He did not think that Night Sorrow could fight with him at all. But Ji Junyang was not like that. "Yes, father. But no matter what, I will kill all of them and avenge my younger brother." At the mention of Ji Yun, Ji Feng's face was full of anger. The two of them grew up together and had a very good relationship. "Of course we will kill them. But the appearance of this Divine King Ant is a wake-up call for us. Father will bring you to other territories. We are not the only ones who want to destroy the territory of the God realm. That Divine King Ant is a victim of his own cleverness." Ji Junyang turned around and glanced at the City Lord's mansion in the City of the Gods as he said with a fake smile. Night Sorrow's performance had alerted him. He was prepared to join forces with the other territories and attack the territory of the God realm together. Good. A lion will use its full strength even when hunting a rabbit. We will deal a fatal blow to the territory of the God realm. As long as we kill all of them in the second round of the War for Providence, the territory of the God realm will definitely be completely cut off. At that time, Ji Feng did not finish his words, but Ji Junyang clearly understood and nodded at him. At the same time, in the City Lord's mansion, many Supremes began to ask about Night Sorrow's cultivation. Night Sorrow's performance just now made them blush with shame. Everyone, including Supreme's Ancestral Phoenix, White Tiger, and Black Tortoise, began to reflect. The territory of the God realm was too weak because of a lack of confidence. It was indeed not a good thing. Night Sorrow has successfully broken through to the upper Divine King realm, but he is still a distance away from the Dominator realm. As for now, he lacks a top-notch movement technique. Also, it would be better if he could get some guidance on spear techniques. Night Sorrow explained his situation in detail. The movement technique he used was taught by Xiao Tianxian. His strength had already surpassed Xiao Tianxuan's, but he still used the dragon swimming steps, which was obviously holding him back. Hearing this, Supreme's ancestral dragon immediately said, "Leave the movement technique to me." Silver Spear Supreme's Yang Tiancheng, who was not far from him, stood out and said, "Leave the spear to me." Chapter 2908. As Supreme Ancestral Dragon and Supreme Silver Spear spoke, the other Supremes didn't say much. Among the two Supremes, Supreme Ancestral Dragon's overall strength was very strong, but his strongest point was his movement technique, which wasn't inferior to the two Vice City Lords. As for Supreme Silver Spear, Yang Tiancheng, he was the only one among the Supremes who used a spear as a divine weapon. His understanding of the spear was incomparable to others. After that, Night Sorrow learned movement and spear techniques from the two Supremes. Although Supreme Ancestral Dragon and Supreme Silver Spear were slightly weaker than some of the Supremes in other territories, they were still lofty existences that godly kings and rulers could only look up to. They were more than enough to teach Night Sorrow. Soon, Night Sorrow learned a new movement technique, the Void Dragon movement technique. The Void Dragon movement technique was much stronger than the Black Sky Roaming Dragon art that Xiao Tianxian taught him. Its absolute speed was about 5 times faster, and the improvement was quite obvious. In addition, he also learned 2 new spear techniques from Yang Tiancheng. One was the Reincarnation Spear art that was improved by Supreme Silver Spear's guidance. The other was the Yang Clan Sky Splitting art that he learned from Yang Tiancheng. Yang Clan's Sky Splitting art. Although the name sounded ordinary, its power was greater than Night Sorrow's Reincarnation Spear art. It was a considerable gain. At the same time, to prevent the half-step Supremes from being exposed too early, Night Sorrow created a Dominator Realm Silver Spear for himself. At this point, Night Sorrow felt that he was fully prepared. But at this time, the other Supremes began to give their gifts. Talismans, pills, secret treasures, formation materials, and so on, they were not stingy at all. This time, to the realm of the gods, it was a battle with their backs against the wall. the Supremes had basically taken out all their wealth. Thank you for your gifts, Supremes. Knight Sorrow will distribute these items to everyone. I hope that we can amaze the world with a single brilliant feat in this battle for Providence. Knight Sorrow was very encouraged by the unity of the realm of the gods. Before coming to the realm of the gods and interacting with others, he was told that some sovereigns and supremes were not easy to get along with, and there were also problems with their character. But at this moment, it seemed that everyone's attention was on them, and nothing disharmonious happened. As supremes, it was impossible for them not to covet supreme materials. Just like the sovereigns in the realm of the gods, supremes. However, everyone controlled themselves and allowed Heavenly Treasure Sovereign to forge all the supreme materials Yi Shang had taken out into half-supreme divine artifacts. Knight Sorrow, while you're learning the sky-splitting tactics, the others have already gathered in Ping An City. Go with them to the location of the Battle of Providence. The Silver Spear Paragon, Yang Tiancheng, said after Knight Sorrow thanked the various paragons. To participate in the Battle of Providence, one did not need to go to other territories. One only needed to teleport from Ping An City to the competition venue at the specified time. Supremes. Okay. I got it. Knight Sorrow responded and headed to Supremes. Knight Sorrow met up with the Supremes in Supremes. Then, they went to the teleportation formation in Supremes and waited for it to open. While waiting, Knight Sorrow distributed the resources given by the Supremes to everyone. Other than Knight Sorrow, Myriad Sword Sect, Shao Tianxian, Shui Changtian, Murong Zhenlu, Yuan Fengxue, and the others' strengths had all increased. Other than the 5 he knew, there were 3 others, Nie Zhanglin, Yang Qing, and Jin Xian. Because there were too many sovereigns in the Eternal Supreme's world, it was not surprising at all. Therefore, no one called themselves sovereigns, and they all called each other by their names. Among those present, Myriad Sword Sect and Shao Tianxian had already reached upper sovereigns. Shui Changtian, Murong Zhenlu, Yuan Fengxue, and Nie Zhanglin were all intermediate sovereigns. Yang Qing and Jin Xian were both peak lower sovereigns. With such a lineup, Knight Sorrow, a half-step Supreme's artifact, and a large amount of resources, their strength was much stronger than in the first round. Everyone felt more confident. Knight Sorrow did not participate in the first round, so he did not know how the War of Providence was carried out. While waiting, he asked, everyone, you've all participated in the last War of Providence. Can you tell me how the War of Providence is carried out? The rules are very simple. That is, all the people in the territories will be teleported to an ancient battlefield until there are 1,200 territories left. If there is still no result after 100 years, then the territories with fewer people will be eliminated. Myriad Sword Sect sighed when he heard Knight Sorrow's question. In the first round of the War of Providence, 2 sovereigns of the divine world had fallen. They did not even have time to crush their nameplates before they were killed. After helping Knight Sorrow explain, they could crush their nameplates to save themselves. Myriad Sword Sect continued, the number of people in our territories is not the least, but it's about the same. Therefore, in the second round of the War of Providence, we will be in a passive position. Only by continuously eliminating other territories will we have a chance to survive until the end. 100 years should be enough. Knight Sorrow thought for a moment, then continued, when we enter the ancient battlefield, we will try not to use our half-step Supreme's artifacts as much as possible to avoid exposing ourselves. Our ultimate goal is to rush into the top 1,000 of the War of Providence, or even obtain a higher ranking. For the second round, it's best to hide some of our strength. If we use our half-step Supreme's artifacts, then we must do our best to kill our opponents. We must not let anyone leak the information of our half-step Supreme's artifacts. Shao Tianxian added. He was even more decisive than Knight Sorrow. We are clear that our half-step Supreme's artifacts are of great importance. If they are exposed, we might be besieged. We will not use them easily. Murong Zhenlu and the others spoke one after another. Even a Supremes might not necessarily have a half-step Supreme's artifacts. In the divine world, every sovereign had one. If they were exposed, it would definitely cause a commotion. Time's up. You all can go now. Just as everyone was talking, the golden crow outside the city suddenly spoke. Everyone, be careful. We might encounter people from other territories when we land. Be prepared. Let's go. When the teleportation formation lit up, Myriad Sword Sect's battle intent was released. He took out his artifacts and reminded everyone to be careful. Then, everyone, including Night Sorrow, took out their artifacts and walked into the teleportation formation. They disappeared into the light pillars. I hope that you all can obtain supreme fortune for the divine world. It's us Supremes who are useless, unable to protect the foundation of our predecessors. After Night Sorrow and the others disappeared into the light pillars, the golden crow sitting outside Peace City muttered. Chapter 2909. The Paragon Golden Crow sighed helplessly. It wasn't that the Paragon Golden Crow didn't work hard, but the suppression of the realm of the gods was too severe. The territory of the god world wasn't so bad, as it could be used to nurture sovereigns. However, as autarchs, as soon as they ran into the sovereign space, they would be hunted down and killed. This also made it difficult for the paragons of the realm of the gods to survive in the supreme space. It was difficult for them to become a true powerhouse. Even the missing city lord was weaker than the peerless powerhouses of the other large territories. The Paragon Golden Crow sincerely hoped that someone in the realm of the gods could become a true powerhouse and restore the glory of the realm of the gods. Just as the Paragon Golden Crow was thinking. Night Sorrow and the Myriad Sword Sect had arrived at the venue of the Battle of Providence. They appeared in the middle of a blood-red ocean. This boundless blood-red ocean had no end in sight. The 9 of them flew above the void and could smell the thick stench of blood. This proved that the blood-red ocean below was likely made of real blood. Night Sorrow, where do you think we should go? After flying for about 4 hours, the boundless ocean was still in front of them. The Myriad Sword Sect was a little impatient and asked Night Sorrow. In their hearts, Night Sorrow was their backbone even though his cultivation level was the lowest. At this time, Night Sorrow had used the sea serpent's eye to observe the surroundings. In the blood-red ocean, there were many corpses. These corpses were unrecognizable, but they could tell that they were giants or ferocious beasts. They didn't belong to any of the territories today. They should be creatures from ancient times that went extinct in the war. The corpses below are all giants or ferocious beasts. This blood should be from them. It's a little scary. As for the void, there's nothing. It looks similar to the eternal supreme space. However, it seems that the distance between the planets is closer. After observing for a while, Night Sorrow explained the situation in front of them. He continued, I can't see anything further. In my opinion, we should just keep moving forward. If there's no other way, that's the only way. We'll leave marks along the way and keep moving forward. Xiao Tianxian nodded and said, there's no other way. Although it was very surprising that they had landed in such a place, it was still the second round of the Battle of Providence. If they didn't encounter anyone from other territories, they would have a full 100 years. At this moment, Yuan Fengxue, who had just heard Night Sorrow's words, said somewhat apprehensively, let's fly a little higher. I keep feeling that this blood sea is very unbearable. The laws and essence of this blood have already dispersed, but some evil aura still exists. That's why everyone feels uncomfortable. If I release my power of virtue, it will be much better. As he spoke, Night Sorrow released his power of merit and surrounded them. Surrounded by the power of virtue, Yuan Fengxue and the others' palpitations completely disappeared. For the rest of the journey, they advanced cautiously. However, for a full 20 days, they had been wandering above the blood sea. They could not see any land at all, not even a small island where they could land. Isn't this a little strange? Could it be that the surface of the celestial body we're on is covered in blood? Myriad Sword Sect frowned and said anxiously, the key is that this blood water is useless. It's useless for us to stay here. You can't think like that. On the bright side, we'll encounter a bitter battle before we land. We have plenty of time to prepare. After Yi Shang's persuasion, he suddenly stopped. Using the sea serpent's eye to carefully observe the surroundings, he saw an ancient teleportation array at the bottom of the sea nearby. There were no corpses within 100 miles of this teleportation array. He immediately pointed below and said, "Everyone, I see a teleportation array. I don't know if it's useful or where it leads. Should we go down and give it a try?" There's a teleportation array. Of course we have to try. No matter what, it's better than staying in this place. Myriad Sword Sect, who was originally very anxious, immediately became spirited when he heard this. The others, including Murong Junlu, also agreed. They didn't want to stay here any longer. Since everyone agrees to give it a try, I'll go down first. Why don't I go down alone to investigate? If there's no danger, you can follow me. How about it? Yi Shang asked when he saw that everyone was willing to go down. He was afraid that there would be danger in the Sea of Blood. If everyone went down together, they would encounter trouble. No. Night Sorrow is the backbone of our Heavenly Realm territory. We can't take the risk. How about this, I'll go. Without waiting for the others to speak, Xiao Tianxian spoke first. Hearing this, Myriad Sword Sect nodded and said, "Yes. You or I can go, but Night Sorrow can't go. We can't risk him. Don't worry. I won't fall so easily. Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am today. Only I can use the power of merit to protect my body, so it's the most suitable to go down and investigate." Night Sorrow shook his head and said. It was indeed dangerous for him to go down, but it was obviously more dangerous for others to go down. Then, amidst everyone's objections, Night Sorrow condensed the charm of the power of merit and dived into the Sea of Blood. Why is the view in the Sea of Blood different from above? Although the sea serpent's eye had been open, Night Sorrow had just dived into the Sea of Blood and found that the things inside were different from the outside. Originally, he was looking from the void and saw that there were no corpses around the teleportation array. But when he dived below the sea level, he found that the teleportation array did exist, but the distance was obviously farther than what he saw above. It was about a few dozen miles away. Around the teleportation array, there were more than 10 floating corpses. There were ferocious beasts and giants. These corpses looked similar to what he saw above, but when he was close, there would be a strong pressure that made him feel very uncomfortable. Night Sorrow swam towards the teleportation array, wanting to see how strong the pressure was. But as he swam, he completely found something strange. Logically speaking, with his speed, even in the Sea of Blood, he could cover a distance of a few dozen miles very quickly. But after swimming for about a few dozen breaths, Night Sorrow found that when he looked at the teleportation array, it still looked like a few dozen miles. It's a little strange down there. Let's think of another way. After discovering that something was wrong, Night Sorrow transmitted his voice to everyone and immediately swam upstream. Chapter 29:10. The tiger-shaped beast corpse opened its dim blood-red eyes. Night Sorrow felt his heart skip a beat. The tiger-shaped beast in front of him had been dead for many years, and its laws and essence had all dissipated. However, after opening its eyes, it gave off a huge pressure. This proved that the tiger-shaped beast must have been very powerful when it was alive, at least at the supreme level. Kill! In an instant, the tiger-shaped beast corpse did not roar. However, Night Sorrow could feel a clear killing intent. His first thought was to fly above the sea level of the blood-red sea. However, after swimming for a while, he realized that he did not change his position at all. No matter how he swam, he stayed in place. Meanwhile, the tiger-shaped beast corpse was getting closer and closer in the blood water. It was obvious that the tiger-shaped beast corpse had turned into a blood corpse and was ready to attack him. I know that you must have been a terrifying existence when you were alive. But now that you're dead and turned into a blood corpse, you don't have the capital to roam freely. Since he could not swim in the blood water, Night Sorrow did not plan to escape. He directly took out the Dominator artifact and blasted a spear at the blood corpse. This spear was guided by the Silver Spear Paragon Yang Tiancheng's reincarnation spear technique. However, Night Sorrow did not turn himself into a spear. Boom! After Night Sorrow's attack, the bloody water immediately surged up. The Silver Dominator spear emitted an extreme light and shot at the blood corpse. Strangely, Night Sorrow's voice could not be transmitted out of the blood sea. He could not swim out, but his battle was not affected at all. An explosive sound came from the sea, and thousands of waves were stirred up. It immediately attracted the attention of Myriad Sword Sect and the others. Charge! We can't let Night Sorrow face this crisis alone. Xiao Tianxian said as the 10,000 Sword Sect looked at the crowd, then charged into the blood sea. Let's go. Our God Realm territory must unite and form a fist. Xiao Tianxian had already jumped down. Myriad Sword Sect said to everyone and jumped into the blood sea. Then, Murong Zhenlu also jumped down. Since so many of them had already jumped down, the others also jumped down without hesitation. The moment they jumped, no matter where they entered the sea, they would appear beside Night Sorrow. This place is very mysterious. You can only enter but not leave. Furthermore, there are blood corpses guarding it. I think this is a checkpoint. Only by killing the blood corpses can we move on. However, this blood corpse body is extremely tough. It won't be easy to deal with. Night Sorrow's attack had successfully landed on the blood corpse body, but it did not leave any wounds on its body, which surprised him. At the same time, he thought about what had happened in the blood sea. He felt that everything in front of him should be the same kind of mode used to clear a trial. Only by defeating the blood corpses would he be able to get close to the teleportation portal, or in other words, leave. Since we are in the middle of the blood sea, no one will be able to see us. Why don't we use our half-paragon divine artifacts? What do you all think? The Myriad Sword Sect was well aware of Yi Shang's strength. If he said that the blood corpse's body was tough, then it meant that they wouldn't be able to threaten it even if they used ordinary sovereign rank artifacts. They might as well make a prompt decision and use their half-step sovereign rank artifacts. There should be a way, but we don't have much time to think about it. In the blood sea, Yuan Qi will be consumed very quickly. Everyone, don't hesitate and use your half-paragon divine artifacts. After the 10,000 Swords Sect spoke, Yi Shang also spoke. They could not communicate with each other on the surface of the blood sea, but they could communicate freely in the blood sea. This made him even more certain that the environment in front of him was man-made. It was equivalent to a trial. I'm not sure. What kind of trial did the other territories face? As the only woman present, Yuan Fengxue was more meticulous than the others. When she took out her half-paragon divine artifact, she could not help but snort. There will probably be a trial. But the strength will definitely be different. The environment in front of us is so disgusting, and the blood corpse in front of us is extremely terrifying. It will probably be the most difficult trial. Xiao Tianxian, who was already fighting with the blood corpse, said his judgment. Ever since the Horn Race Paragon sacrificed himself to summon those scenes, everyone knew that the other territories were targeting the deity realm. This time, the deity realm had advanced to the second round for the first time. The scene in front of them was very likely the doing of some of the other territories. Yes. Someone is definitely targeting the deity realm. In the first round, although the place we arrived at was bad, it shouldn't be like this. After Xiao Tianxian finished speaking, Myriad Sword Sect also complained unhappily. Although they did not have any evidence, they could vaguely feel that someone was deliberately targeting the deity realm. That was why they were sent to such a disgusting and uncomfortable place. We'll deal with it when the time comes. Let's defeat the blood corpse first. Taking out the half-paragon divine artifact Golden Heavenly Halberd, Night Sorrow cooperated with Xiao Tianxian and suddenly blasted a spear at the blood corpse in front of them. The blood corpse's body was very strong, but its speed was not fast. Under Xiao Tianquan's restraint, Night Sorrow successfully blasted the blood corpse back. Although he did not use his ultimate skill, Night Sorrow had already used all his strength. However, he only managed to pierce the blood corpse's skin. It was easy to imagine the toughness of the body of the blood corpse that the tiger beast had transformed into. If it weren't for the half-paragon divine artifact in hand, I'm afraid that with their strength, they wouldn't even be able to pierce the blood corpse's skin, let alone fight it. Someone is definitely targeting the deity realm. After a while, Myriad Sword Sect complained. According to their normal strength, although they would not be killed by the slow-moving blood corpse, they would definitely not be able to hurt it. In that case, the few of them would definitely be trapped in the blood sea. If they did not crush the identity plate that was formed after entering the ancient battlefield, they would have to wait for 100 years to leave. 100 years to pass in the filthy blood sea before them. It was disgusting just thinking about it. Continue attacking. The blood corpse in front of us is about to die. Night Sorrow did not have any distractions in his mind as he continued to attack the blood corpse. Under everyone's joint attack, the blood corpse gradually could not hold on. Little by little, it was pierced with large and small wounds. Without intelligence, it could only rely on its instincts to fight. Moreover, its movement was relatively slow, so it was not much of a threat to the group. About 2 hours later, the blood corpse was completely defeated and its body uncontrollably sank to the bottom of the sea. Luckily, it's a blood corpse without intelligence, so it's not much of a threat to us. If it was someone with strong combat skills, with its tough body, it would be really hard to deal with. After defeating the blood corpse, Murong Jinlu heaved a sigh of relief. Chapter 29:11. What I said really comes true. Murong had just finished speaking when he saw 2 blood corpses charging towards them from the position of the formation. One of the blood corpses was a flood dragon with 2 horns on its head, and the other was a fallen giant ape. Their speed was 4 to 5 times faster than the defeated giant tiger beast, and they did not look as sluggish as the giant tiger beast. There seemed to be a trace of intelligence in their lifeless eyes. Roar! When the 2-horned flood dragon got close to Yishang and the others, it let out a roar and immediately attacked Yangqing, who was the weakest among them. As for the other giant ape, it roared ferociously and attacked the weaker gold Xian cultivator. The attacks of the 2 blood corpses seemed to be somewhat methodical. Yang Qing and Jin Xian, who were being attacked, immediately panicked. Yang Qing used the half-step supreme divine artifact to block the attacks and shouted, "Brother Yi, Brother Wan, save me." Apparently, he was frightened by the flood dragon with 2 horns on its head. Don't be afraid. No matter how strong the enemy is, you must stay true to your heart. If you have fear in your heart, your combat power will be greatly reduced. Night Sorrow, who also felt that the 2 blood corpses were not easy to deal with, reminded them loudly. At the same time, he activated the 33 Heaven secret combat technique and attacked the flood dragon with the Yang sky-splitting art. Originally, he thought that he could use this move in the final round of the Battle of Providence. He did not expect that he would need to use it as soon as he arrived at the ancient battlefield. Boom! After Night Sorrow used the Yang sky-splitting art, his speed instantly soared. He held the golden heavenly halberd and directly attacked the flood dragon with 2 horns on its head. The blood corpse flood dragon, which was attacking Yang Qing, was attacked by Night Sorrow and was immediately injured. It shook its huge head and attacked Night Sorrow. Obviously, it already had a trace of a beast's instinct. Basically, it would attack the person who injured it first. Good chance. I will hold back the flood dragon, and the rest of you deal with the giant ape. Help me again. Seeing that the blood corpse Jiao dragon was attacking him, Night Sorrow immediately reminded the others to deal with the giant ape holding up the sky. Brother Yi, don't worry. We will kill the heaven-raising ape as soon as possible. Master Wan Jian, who had already helped Jin Xian fend off the giant ape, immediately roared. Although Xiao Tianxian did not say anything, he had already unleashed his strongest attack on the heaven-raising ape. As for the others, there was no need to even mention them. They were completely prepared to fight with their lives on the line. They were clear that the dangerous situation before them had to be resolved through risking their lives. The people of the heavenly realm had definitely been cheated by someone this time. Otherwise, he would not have encountered such a difficult blood corpse. Awoo. While the others were trying their best to fend off the towering ape, the Wyrm that Night Sorrow had injured had already engaged him in battle. Night Sorrow had been able to handle the tiger-shaped blood corpse with ease earlier. However, the Wyrm before him was a different story. Although the Wyrm in front of him did not have much spiritual intelligence, and most of the time, it relied on its instincts to fight. However, its strength was even slightly stronger than the golden demonic rocks. If Night Sorrow had not advanced to the upper Divine King realm, he might not have been able to contend with it even with a half-step Supreme Divine artifact in hand. Jiao shakes the 9 heavens. However, just as Night Sorrow and the Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon were locked in a stalemate, something happened that surprised him. The Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon that had been fighting with brute force suddenly roared in human language. Jiao shakes the 9 heavens. Then, it unleashed a ferocious unique skill. In the sea of blood, it turned into a 9-headed Wyrm. Each of the 9 heads spat out a type of flame at Night Sorrow. When the 9 types of flames were spat out, the sea of blood around them began to boil. It looked extremely terrifying. Void Dragon Movement Technique. Facing the 9 terrifying flames, Night Sorrow immediately unleashed the Void Dragon Movement Technique that the Ancestral Dragon had taught him. After unleashing it, he immediately changed his position and appeared behind the Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon. 9 dragons burning the sky. After Night Sorrow dodged the attack, the Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon roared again. This time, its 9 heads all left its body and surrounded Night Sorrow, spitting out flames again. The 9 types of flames it spat out were several times more terrifying than the previous Wyrm shaking the 9 heavens. Immediately, a sense of crisis rose in Night Sorrow's heart. Divine Origin Trap Array. Merit Trap Array. Yang Sky-Splitting Art. Night Sorrow judged from the eye of the sea serpent that he would not be able to dodge the attack with the Void Dragon Movement Technique. Therefore, he set up a Divine Origin Trap Array and a Merit Trap Array around him to resist the flames. He also unleashed the strongest spear that he had mastered, the Yang Sky-Splitting Art. Although the Yang Sky-Splitting Art only had one move, its variations were endless. Every time it was unleashed, it would be different. This time, Night Sorrow stabbed out 9 times consecutively. These 9 spears were aimed at the 9 heads of the Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon. After the 9 dragons burning the sky broke through the Divine Origin Trap Array and the Merit Trap Array, the 9 spears pierced through the flames and bombarded the 9 heads. As for the flames that the Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon shot out, Night Sorrow used the Merit Divine Domain and his extremely strong body to resist them. Pft! 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 When the 9 types of flames spat out by the Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon burned Night Sorrow's body, his 9 spears smashed the 9 heads of the Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon. After a few muffled sounds, the Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon sank into the depths of the blood sea like the defeated tiger-shaped blood corpse. Great! Brother Night Sorrow is indeed blessed by the gods. You actually managed to kill the Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon with your own strength. On the other side, the battle was still ongoing. Murong Zhenlu, who happened to notice Night Sorrow killing the Blood Corpse Jiao Dragon, immediately roared. But at this moment, Master Wan Jian roared, "Zhenlu, be careful." Originally, when Murong Zhenlu looked at Night Sorrow, the giant ape seized the opportunity and directly slapped his chest. It's over. By the time Murong Zhenlu reacted, it was already too late. He could no longer dodge the giant ape's attack. In the battle just now, everyone already knew that the giant ape was an existence that was born with divine strength. In terms of strength, it should not be inferior to any dominator. Murong Zhenlu's heart sank like the sea. Merit Trap Array. In a moment of desperation, Night Sorrow did not care about his own injuries and immediately used the Merit Trap Array on the giant ape. Time was of the essence, he did not have time to use 2 trap arrays at the same time. Boom! After Night Sorrow used the merit trap array, the giant ape's huge palm immediately slammed on the wall of the sealed space, immediately shattering the sealed space. However, Murong Junlu managed to avoid the disaster. Brother Yi, this giant ape in front of us seems to be getting stronger as it fights. Also, its intelligence seems to be gradually recovering. If your injuries are not serious, quickly come and help. At this time, Master Wan Jian, who was clearly feeling a little strained, shouted. Genius remembered this site's address in a second. Human Mobile Version Reading Website. Chapter 29:12. Obviously, the skypropping ape was not easy to deal with. The skypropping ape is so strong. Night Sorrow was surprised to hear Master 10,000 Swords' exclamation. After all, he defeated the Blood Corpse Wyrm on his own. However, after fighting with the skypropping ape, he realized that it was indeed powerful. Its intelligence was recovering more and more during the battle. Its body was growing bigger and bigger as if it had turned into a mountain. Its combat skills were also improving, and it was becoming more and more of a threat to everyone. Moreover, everyone, including Night Sorrow, could not use the divine weapons in their hands to directly injure the skypropping ape. Although it had lost all of its laws and essence, its defense was still terrifying without a festering corpse. Everyone, be careful. Keep it busy while I think of a countermeasure. After fighting with the skypropping ape for a while, Night Sorrow came up with a countermeasure. He knew that it was not a good idea to continue fighting like this. If the skypropping ape's strength continued to grow, they would not be able to stop it. Brother Yi, I have a countermeasure, but it's a little risky. At this moment, Master 10,000 Swords suddenly said, I think the skypropping ape's body is as hard as 10,000-year-old cold iron. It's impossible to break through. Why don't we enter its body through its mouth and break it from the inside? What do you think? Enter the skypropping ape's body through its mouth? I'll think about it. Master 10,000 Swords' suggestion was beyond Night Sorrow's imagination. It was an extremely risky choice. While observing the skypropping ape, he also thought about the feasibility of the suggestion. There are traces of sword chi under the skypropping ape's armpits. It was probably killed by this sword chi. Let's be patient and attack its armpits. Night Sorrow, who was observing the skypropping ape with the sea serpent's eye, was originally thinking about whether to take the risk and enter its mouth. However, he unexpectedly found that there were traces of sword chi under the skypropping ape's armpits. Okay. I don't believe that it's really invulnerable. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Xiao Tianxian immediately raised the quasi-supreme divine weapon in his hand, the Tianxian Bao. Looking for the right time to shoot. Murong Zhenlu, Yang Qing, and the others understood tacitly and restrained the giant ape. He told it to wave its arms and fight as much as possible, exposing the holes under its armpits. His armpits were covered by green fur. If it weren't for Night Sorrow's sea serpent eye that could see through illusions, he definitely wouldn't have discovered this. Awoo. When Xiao Tianxian found the opportunity to use the Tianxian arrow to pierce through the giant ape's armpits, it immediately looked up to the sky and howled in pain. Although the giant ape had already turned into a bloody corpse, the wound that had killed it could not be ignored. This wound had clearly left an indelible mark on his body. This is a good opportunity. Let's all attack and try to kill him. Seeing that Xiao Tianchuan's arrow was effective, the Thousand Swords Master's eyes flashed and he rushed towards the heaven-raising ape's armpit. Great immortal sword art. Seizing the opportunity, he merged himself with the half-supreme divine artifact and turned into a giant sword, piercing through the heaven-raising ape's armpits. This is indeed a good opportunity. The heaven-raising ape seems to have been completely suppressed by the wound that killed it. Let's cut the Gordian knot. Kill. Night Sorrow, who had activated the sea serpent eye, saw the sword chi runes flashing under the heaven-raising ape's armpits. This rune was definitely not something that the Thousand Swords Master could use. He knew that this was most likely the heaven-raising ape's armpits that everyone was attacking together. This time, the sword chi from back then was activated. Brother Yi, Not only is your combat strength amazing, but your ability to break the stalemate is also unquestionable. I'm impressed. Jin Xian couldn't help but admire Knight Soro's insight during the process of attacking the heaven-raising ape. Brother Jin Xian, you flatter me. I've only learned a kind of eye technique by chance. After discovering the heaven-raising ape's weakness, it became easier for everyone to kill it. Knight Soro also relaxed a lot. However, during the process of the battle, he had been observing the sword chi that killed the heaven-raising ape. The heaven-raising ape had been killed for God knows how many years. The laws and essence on its body had already dissipated, but the runes in the sword chi had not dissipated. This proved that the person who attacked back then was very powerful and had a peerless appearance. Ha! It's all thanks to Brother Ye's ability to see through heaven's secrets. Otherwise, we would have definitely been in a tough battle. After the heaven-raising ape sank down, Murong Zijin smiled and said with a relaxed smile. In the battle just now, he had experienced several dangerous situations, but they were all resolved by everyone. At this moment, he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. The only female cultivator present, Yuan Fengxue, didn't look good. She wasn't used to the aura of the blood sea at all. After going through a tough battle, her condition was even worse. Yuan Fengxue, I see that you're not in a good condition. Why don't you enter my space grotto heaven to rest? What do you think? Knight Soro, who had noticed Yuan Fengxue's condition, immediately said. At this moment, not only did Yuan Fengxue's complexion not look good, but her aura was also not right. Her condition was very bad. Okay. Then, I'll have to trouble Brother Yi. Although Yuan Fengxue didn't want to be a deserter, she felt so uncomfortable that she wanted to vomit. She really couldn't muster up any strength. It's okay. It's only right for us to take care of each other. This is a poison cleansing pill, a gift from Supreme Ancestor Phoenix. After you enter the space grotto heaven, immediately take it. Knight Soro kept Yuan Fengxue into the space grotto heaven and handed him a pill. He felt that Yuan Fengxue's condition seemed to be poisoned. Thank you, Brother Yi, for your care. After Yuan Fengxue took the pill, he looked at Myriad Sword Sect and said, if you encounter a battle again, don't be too stubborn. Okay. I promise you. Myriad Sword Sect glanced at Yuan Fengxue and nodded lightly. He could naturally see that Yuan Fengxue had an unusual concern for him. After Yuan Fengxue entered the space grotto heaven, Knight Soro continued, let's go forward and see if we can enter the teleportation array. Okay. This time, it's my turn to explore. Xiao Tianxian responded and took the lead to swim in front. However, after swimming for a long time, he was still very far away from the teleportation array. He said in surprise, it seems that the teleportation array in the distance can't be approached. Everyone, pay attention. It's very likely that there's still a battle. The situation that Xiao Tianxian encountered was exactly the same as what he had faced before. Knight Soro guessed that they had not completely passed the test. As Knight Soro's voice fell, the corpse of an ancient giant near the teleportation array turned into a blood corpse and attacked. Everyone, who had relaxed a little, tensed up again and fought with it. While Knight Soro and the rest were fighting with the blood corpse ancient giant. On the star closest to the blood star, Ji Feng and the people of the celestial immortal territory were observing the blood star's movements. Behind him were more than 20 sovereign realm cultivators. Chapter 29:13. It was obvious that they were here to represent Celestial Immortals' territory in the second round. In the previous battle for Providence, Celestial Immortals' territory was ranked 2150. They were still very strong. The 20 or so sovereigns before them were only half of their strength. The other 20 or so had already gone to other celestial bodies under the lead of another genius. In the second round of the battle for Providence, each of the thousands of territories would descend on a celestial body. The celestial world's people were not aware of this at all. Even their warships were not prepared. Because the celestial world's territory had not advanced to the second round for many years, they were not aware of the rules. Young Master Feng, since the celestial bodies that the celestial world's people descended on were arranged by our Lord, they shouldn't be able to escape, right? Why not let them perish on their own? An upper-level sovereign beside Ji Feng asked, puzzled. The blood-red celestial body is indeed the most unbearable celestial body in the second round of the battle for Providence. There have been more than 10 battles for Providence, and the teams that descended on the blood-red celestial body will be completely trapped. However, this young master's goal is not to trap them. I want to trap them there and wait for us to slaughter them. Ji Feng's expression was sinister. His younger brother, Ji Yun, had gone missing in the celestial world's territory. When he went to the celestial world's territory to ask for his brother, he was intimidated by Night Sorrow and did not dare to make a move. This time, his father had used some tricks to make the celestial world's people descend on the infamous blood-red celestial body. He felt that he had to make a move no matter what. Otherwise, his Tao heart would definitely shatter. Yes. Young Master Feng, we are on standby. The sovereigns behind Ji Feng all stood up and answered. Good. Very good. We'll wait for them to exhaust themselves a bit more before making a move. The blood-red celestial body is not something that trash like them can easily break through. We are not in a hurry. Ji Feng's body was full of killing intent. Although he could not see what was happening on the blood-red celestial body, he could feel the energy fluctuations there and knew that the celestial world's people were fighting. At this time, Night Sorrow and the others were indeed fighting. At this point, their battle with the Blood Corpse primordial giant had reached its climax. Night Sorrow, master of 10,000 swords, and Xiao Tianxian had already unleashed their full power. Only then were they barely able to hold their own against the Blood Corpse primordial giant. Even after fighting for a while, Night Sorrow did not find any fatal wounds on the Blood Corpse primordial giant. Hence, the moves he used on the Blood Corpse ape were not effective. Brother Yi, what should we do? If this stalemate continues, we will consume a large number of pills, but it doesn't seem to be consuming anything at all. And even if we can defeat it, there might be other blood corpses. Master Wan Jian roared helplessly after swallowing the third pill. Facing the ancient blood corpse giant before him, he truly felt that he had done his best. Furthermore, the other people from the divine realm had to use all of their abilities to barely be able to fight the blood corpse ancient giant to a draw. No one was injured, but they had been tense all the time, and this feeling was very tiring. Yes. We have already unleashed our full power, and we have already exceeded our limits, but we still can't defeat it. Now we need to think of a way to deal with it. Xiao Tianxian also shouted. The blood corpse primordial giant's strength was shocking, and its fighting skills were obviously stronger than the other blood corpses. It was very difficult to deal with. Everyone felt as if they were lifting an unbearable mountain. If they kept lifting it, there would be a time when they could no longer lift it, but if they put it down, they would be crushed to death. From the looks of it, there are only two ways. One is for you to stall it, and I will try to set up a formation. While fighting against the blood corpse primordial giant, Night Sorrow shouted, the other way is for us to practice the spell of combination during the battle. Spell of combination? Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Master of 10,000 Swords asked doubtfully, is it a method where everyone cooperates to attack the opponent? The more people there are, the harder it is to practice the spell of combination. We can form 3 groups of 3 people. During the process of practice, you must be careful. I will tell you what to do next. After Night Sorrow answered, he used telepathy to teach the spell of combination to everyone. So that's how it is. If we succeed, our strength will definitely increase qualitatively. This method of fighting together is much easier than setting up a formation. Let's give it a try. Master of 10,000 Swords, who was originally in despair, immediately became spirited after Night Sorrow took out the spell of combination. He shouted, Brother Yi, Brother Xiao, and I will be in a group. Feng Shui, Guide, and Chang Tian will be in a group. Nie Zhanglin, Yang Qing, and Jin Xian will be in a group. While everyone is practicing, you must pay attention to your own safety. After they were divided into groups, Master of 10,000 Swords continued, Brother Yi, Brother Shao, and I will work together to restrain the Blood Corpse primordial giant. You all just need to be responsible for attacking. Is everyone okay? No problem. No problem. After everyone answered, they began to spread out according to the spell of combination. Night Sorrow, Shao Tianxian, and Master of 10,000 Swords were in charge of restraining the Blood Corpse primordial giant and resisting its attacks. Therefore, they were in the most dangerous position. It was difficult to fully practice the spell of combination. However, Shuechang Tian, Yuan Fengxue, and Murong Guide were under a lot of pressure. They usually had a good relationship with each other. Therefore, their tacit understanding was very high. Not long after, they successfully mastered the spell of combination and their strength increased greatly. Although Nie Zhanglin, Yang Qing, and Jin Xian were not very strong, they were after all dominators. After a while, they also mastered the spell of combination. After the two groups mastered the spell of combination, the heavenly world's people's combat strength increased several times. Not long after, they successfully killed the Blood Corpse primordial giant. As the Blood Corpse primordial giant lost control and sank to the bottom of the sea, the heavenly world's people revealed victorious smiles. In order to cooperate with Shuechang Tian and Murong Guide, Yuan Fengxue, who came out of Night Sorrow's space grotto heaven, looked much better. She said with lingering fear, luckily, Brother Ye's spell of combination came in time. Otherwise, we would still be fighting the Blood Corpse primordial giant and the first to fall would be us. Yeah. Brother Yi, you're truly a heaven-shaking genius. With you here, our heavenly world's people will not have to worry about not rising. Jin Xian also complimented. He was very impressed with Night Sorrow's ability. As for the others, they were also very impressed with Night Sorrow. However, before Master of 10,000 Swords and Shao Tianxian and the others could say anything, they saw a nine-tailed celestial fox that had turned into a Blood Corpse primordial giant charging towards them. F***CK. Is there an end to this? They had been fighting for a long time and had not had a chance to rest. Master of 10,000 Swords could not help but curse when he saw another Blood Corpse primordial giant. Forget it. Since it's here, let's take it as it comes. The three of us. We can use it to practice our spell of combination. Chapter 29:14. The blood corpses near the teleportation formation were resurrected one by one. Night Sorrow felt that if they wanted to leave through the teleportation formation, they would have to defeat all the blood corpses near the formation. There were still 8 blood corpses near the teleportation formation, which meant that there was still an extremely difficult battle to fight. That was definitely going to be a bitter battle. Night Sorrow felt that he, Myriad Sword Sect, and Shao Tianxian needed to quickly master the spell formation, otherwise they would not be able to hold on in the following battles. Good. Brother Yi, you've really thought it through. Thousand Swords Master said, then shouted, Brother Shao, come. The two of us will cooperate with Brother Yi and perform the spell formation. He will be the leader. Good. We will cooperate with him. Speaking of which, Shao Tianxian was definitely Night Sorrow's senior, but in the Eternal Supreme Realm, he did not put on airs and was very easygoing. 9th Heaven Charm Saint Art. While everyone was studying the battle strategy, the Blood Corpse nine-tailed celestial fox suddenly let out an extremely seductive voice, and then performed the spell of charm. In an instant, the sea of blood in the sky turned into a paradise. In this paradise, there were many naked beautiful women, countless treasures, and a dazzling array of cultivation resources. She had almost everything a man needed. Myriad Sword Sect and Shao Tianxian, who were preparing to perform the spell formation, immediately fell for the spell of charm. The two of them became dizzy at the same time. Not to mention practicing the spell formation, even standing in the sea of blood was a little unstable. In addition to the two of them, Shui Changtian, Murong Zhenlu, Nie Zhanglin, and Yang Qing were also affected. Only Night Sorrow, Yuan Fengxue, and Jin Xian were fine. Night Sorrow looked at Yuan Fengxue and Jin Xian and said, in order to prevent the 6 of them from being killed by the blood corpses in a bad state, I will temporarily put them in the space grotto heaven. Leave the rest to us. The blood corpse nine-tailed celestial fox was most definitely an expert in the art of charm. Night Sorrow knew very well that there was no point in leaving the Myriad Sword sect and the others behind. They would only be putting themselves in danger. Therefore, he immediately kept all 6 of them into the space grotto heaven. Then, together with Yuan Fengxue and Jin Xian, he started to fight the blood corpse nine-tailed celestial fox. After a fierce battle, Night Sorrow realized that the blood corpse nine-tailed celestial fox was indeed inferior to the primordial giant in terms of pure combat strength. He shouted, the 3 of us should also practice our combined techniques and try to finish it off as soon as possible. Good. Although Gold Xian's strength is a little weak, but they will never back down. Jin Xian said excitedly. Whether it was in the God realm or now on the Blood Red planet, he had always been a supporting character beside the Myriad Sword sect and the others. As the grandson of the Golden Crow, he had always been under a lot of pressure. Now that he had taken on such an important role at such an important moment, he suddenly found the meaning of his existence. He thought to himself, Grandfather, your grandson will bring glory to you. Good. Fengxue, are you feeling better? Jin Xian was full of fighting spirit. There was no problem at all. Night Sorrow immediately looked at Yuan Fengxue. After entering the Blood Sea, Yuan Fengxue's condition had been very bad. Night Sorrow was not sure how much he had recovered. Brother Yi, don't worry. I'm fine. For everyone, Fengxue will do his best. Yuan Fengxue looked at Night Sorrow confidently and nodded. Good. Let's kill this nine-tailed celestial fox. Night Sorrow roared and released his virtuous divine realm again. This time, he was mainly responsible for blocking the attacks of the blood corpse nine-tailed celestial fox. After realizing that the bewitching technique did not work on the 3 people in front of it, the blood corpse nine-tailed celestial fox launched a powerful attack. Although its strength was slightly weaker than the blood corpse primordial giant, it was still very powerful. It was still very difficult for Night Sorrow and the others to deal with it. However, as the battle progressed, the 3 people's tacit understanding became higher and higher. In the end, they successfully mastered the combination technique. They successfully suppressed the blood corpse nine-tailed celestial fox, and after a tough battle, they completely defeated it. After defeating the blood corpse nine-tailed celestial fox, Night Sorrow let out a long sigh of relief. As for Jin Xian, who had become the main character of a battle for the first time, he was excited and his confidence increased a lot. Yuan Fengxue asked, Brother Yi, how are the people in your grotto heaven? Have they recovered? Ha! Don't worry. After the blood corpse nine-tailed celestial fox was defeated, they all woke up. Night Sorrow knew that Yuan Fengxue was interested in the Myriad Sword sect and replied with a smile. At the same time, he looked at Jin Xian and said, Brother Jin's ability to resist the bewitching technique is really impressive. If you were like the others just now, Fengxue and I wouldn't have been able to defeat the blood corpse nine-tailed celestial fox. Brother Yi, you flatter me. I just don't want to tarnish my grandfather's reputation, so I don't have any distracting thoughts. Jin Xian replied modestly, and then asked about the situation of the others. I'll ask them and see how they are doing. Night Sorrow replied to Yuan Fengxue and Jin Xian, then asked the Myriad Sword sect in the grotto heaven, Brother Wan, how do you feel? Brother Yi, what did you experience just now? Why are we in your grotto heaven? The Myriad Sword sect, who had just woken up and was still in a daze, immediately asked when he heard Night Sorrow's voice transmission. You were affected by the blood corpse nine-tailed celestial fox's bewitching technique and lost your ability to resist. Therefore, you were taken into my grotto heaven. Night Sorrow said, and then told them about Yuan Fengxue and Jin Xian's performance. Hearing this, the people who had recovered and were released from the grotto heaven immediately expressed their gratitude to Yuan Fengxue and Jin Xian. Regarding this, Yuan Fengxue and Jin Xian were a little embarrassed. Jin Xian said modestly, the main credit is Brother Yi. If it wasn't for Brother Yi this time, who knows how many times we would have died. The second test was really too difficult. It is indeed a little too difficult. But I feel that the harder part is still to come. Everyone's state was a little relaxed. Night Sorrow quickly reminded them that things were definitely not that simple. Just as his voice fell, everyone's expression changed. They saw that the remaining 8 blood corpses near the teleportation array had all moved and were attacking them. These 8 blood corpses belonged to different territories and their appearances were very different. However, each of their auras was not weaker than the 9-tailed celestial fox that they had just fought. The strongest of them was even stronger than the blood corpse ancient giant. Brother Yi, what should we do? There are so many powerful blood corpses, we are no match at all. The Myriad Sword Sect, who was originally smiling, immediately asked in horror when he saw the 8 blood corpses in front of him. The difference in strength between the two sides is too great, I have no other choice. Night Sorrow's expression also changed greatly. The 8 blood corpses in front of them had revived at the same time and their strength was clearly suppressed by the 9 of them. Chapter 29:15. We can't beat them, and we can't run away either. It seems like we are powerless this time. Yuan Fengxue sighed as he realized that it would be difficult for them to survive the crisis. But it's an honor to fight alongside everyone. We can't accept the fact that we can't bring luck to the realm of the gods. When the danger comes, let's crush our identity plates together. It's better to be teleported out than to die in battle. We can only blame the enemy for being too strong. No territory participating in the second round can fight against this kind of blood corpses. Yang Qing said gloomily. The blood corpses in front of them were too strong, and they couldn't bring themselves to fight against them. I don't know who is trying to harm our realm of the gods. They put us in such a dangerous situation. The master of the Myriad Sword Sect said angrily. Everyone, don't panic. Even if we have to crush our identity plates to be teleported out, we have to do it when we are absolutely no match for them. We haven't lost yet, so don't despair. If the realm of the gods doesn't get the right amount of luck, we will end up in a miserable state. We can't give up unless we have no other choice. Night Sorrow comforted everyone when he saw that they were not in a stable state of mind. He continued, just now, I suddenly had an idea. I feel that we can form groups of 3 and form a joint attack. We can try to form a joint attack formation with 3 groups. If we form a formation in groups, the power of the formation will definitely increase. Night Sorrow, who said this, felt that there was little hope because their strength was not enough to fight against the 8 blood corpses. As long as there is a glimmer of hope, we can't give up. Think about the fate of the realm of the gods if we are defeated. According to my idea, we should fight with our lives on the line. Don't think about giving up. When the nest is overturned, no egg will remain intact. Everyone should know this. Now that the pressure is on us, we have to bear it. Xiao Tianxian, who was silent for a while, gritted his teeth and said. As he spoke, he threw his identity plate into the sea of blood corpses. Brother Xiao. Jin Xian shouted when he saw Xiao Tianxian throw his identity plate away. Then, he felt his body tremble. In his excitement, he threw his identity plate away as well. All right. At worst, we will die here. I, Master Wan Jian, am not afraid of death. As he spoke, a look of determination appeared on Master Wan Jian's face. He then took out his nameplate and threw it away. All right. I'll throw it away too. At worst, we will die. Seeing that the Myriad Sword Sect had thrown away their nameplate, Yuan Fengxue threw it away as well. If that's the case, let's all throw away our nameplates and fight to the death. If we lose, we will die. Victory is equivalent to saving the entire divine realm and the divine realm behind it. Everyone's identity plate, Master Wan Jian's identity plate, Master Wan Jian, SSSSS kill T, TSSSS end, T soon after, the remaining people also threw away their identity plates with a determined look on their faces. To them, they, T. S2. If they could not help the celestial realm obtain more karmic luck, the celestial realm would definitely be devoured by other territories. Kill. We must kill the blood corpses in front of us. For the sake of the realm of the gods. The others roared as well. Their auras were dozens of times stronger than before. Awoo. Roar. The 8 blood corpses were as ferocious as ever. If they were compared to the realm of the gods individually, the realm of the gods would be no match for them. But everyone in the realm of the gods was ready to risk their lives. In such a state, they were able to quickly integrate their joint attack formation into a cohesive whole. Their strength increased by a lot in an instant. Don't think about whether there is hope or not. Kill as many as we can. In the middle of the battle, Yi Shang roared and continued to command everyone to fight. Now, he had to use more soul energy than usual, but he didn't feel tired at all. His whole body, or the unit formed by the few of them, had entered a mysterious state. The 8 blood corpses were very strong, but in a real battle, they couldn't do anything to them in a short time. After fighting for a while, the 9 people in the realm of the gods successfully killed the weakest blood corpse mermaid. After killing him, the aura of those from the firmament territory grew even stronger. Master Wan Jian roared, "Good job, everyone. Keep it up. Do your best to kill all of them. For the realm of the gods, kill. Kill." Everyone roared and continued to fight the remaining 7 blood corpses. Although the formation consumed a lot of soul energy, they didn't care about the pills they had and kept swallowing them to maintain their condition. For example, Night Sorrow kept the 33 Heavens battle secret technique active. But the realm of the gods soon realized that the remaining 7 blood corpses had become much stronger after the blood corpse mermaid was killed. It felt like they were being nourished by the blood corpse mermaid. Moreover, under the condition of increasing their strength, they had completely fallen into a deep madness. That feeling of bloodlust and desperation made them extremely terrifying. Everyone. Kill. No matter how strong the enemy is, if they want to destroy the last hope of the realm of the gods, they will have to step over us. Night Sorrow, who had raised his battle intent to the strongest state in his life, roared and began to burn his blood. This was the limitless body tempering art that he hadn't used in a long time. Now, he didn't need to break his arm to use it. Burn. Golden Crow Bloodline. In the midst of the bitter battle, Jin Xian roared and began to burn his bloodline. When he completely turned into a golden crow, everyone realized that he was from the Golden Crow clan, the descendant of the Golden Crow Supreme. Everyone, give it your all. Master Wan Jian can't hold back either. Great Divine Sword Technique. Transform into a sword. Master Wan Jian roared and used his ultimate technique, the Great Divine Sword Technique, to transform himself and his entire body into a giant sword. As for the others, they naturally didn't hold back and used their ultimate techniques. At this point, if they didn't use their forbidden techniques, they wouldn't have a chance of winning. At this time, the 7 blood corpses were completely enraged. They crazily fought with the realm of the gods. After a while, although the realm of the gods had successfully killed another blood corpse, 3 of them were injured and the formation was broken. Chapter 29:16. Everyone. The situation is critical now. In my opinion, although the divine artifact is important, it is nothing compared to our lives. At this critical moment, why don't we all self-detonate the half-step Supreme Being divine artifact? Perhaps it will have an unexpected effect. In this difficult moment, Night Sorrow suddenly had an idea. He felt that although a half-step Supreme Being divine artifact was hard to come by, it was not a pity to give it up when their lives were at stake. The self-detonation of a half-step Supreme Being divine artifact was much more powerful than any attack they could make. It was not something a combination attack could compare to. If they used it, they would definitely achieve great results. Although this sacrifice was huge, in this desperate moment, they could only make such a choice. That's right. Not only can we self-detonate the half-step Supreme Being divine artifact, we also have the sovereign divine artifact in our hands. In addition, we also have the divine talismans given by the supreme beings. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Myriad Sword Master also became spirited. They were forced into a desperate situation, and it seemed that their potential had increased by a lot. There are restrictions on the divine talismans, so we can only use the divine talismans given by the supreme beings to restore our lives. If we use the offensive divine talismans, we will be killed by the ancient battlefield. After Myriad Sword Master spoke, Xiao Tianxian, who was slightly more familiar with the rules, immediately reminded them. He warned everyone not to use the divine talismans that could directly kill cultivators. This was because offensive divine talismans were explicitly prohibited in the battle for luck. If they could be used casually, then it would not be a battle between supreme beings, but a battle between supreme beings and existences that surpass supreme beings. At this time, Jin Xian said with a firm gaze, although the self-detonation of a half-step supreme being divine artifact is powerful, it is not realistic to kill a blood corpse. As a member of the Golden Crow clan, my speed is considered fast among everyone. I will find an opportunity to send the divine artifact into a blood corpse's mouth. Then, I will make it self-detonate. Create an opportunity for me. In terms of raw strength, Jin Xian was the weakest among everyone. This was because he had been sealed since birth, and only awakened in the last era did he begin to cultivate. However, his speed was second only to Night Sorrow among everyone. Alright, but pay attention to your safety. Your own safety is the most important. Everyone, cover Jin Xian. In addition, Feng Shui, Yang Qing, and Chang Lin, who are already injured, you have to take care of yourselves. Night Sorrow, who was holding back the strongest of the blood corpses, did not have the energy to care about anything else. He could only divert a bit of energy to give orders. Don't worry. I will create opportunities for Jin Xian. You guys stall the other blood corpses. The 10,000 Swords sect, who had transformed into a giant sword, used a secret technique to dissolve the sovereign artifact and fuse it into his own body. In the blink of an eye, his strength had greatly increased, and he suddenly blasted towards one of the skeleton creatures. As for the half-step supreme divine artifact, he couldn't bear to directly destroy it. Brother Wan, Brother Jean, we will do our best. After killing the 2 blood corpses, the original 8 blood corpses became 6. Other than the one that Night Sorrow was pinning down and the one that the Thousand Swords sect was attacking, there were still 4 left. After Xiao Tianxian activated his bloodline, he was able to temporarily hold off one of them. This was where the problem arose. Of the remaining 3, Yuan Fengxue, Yang Qing, and Nie Zhanglin were blocking one. Xuechang Tian and Murong Ji-Lu also blocked one. In the end, there was still one that no one could fight against. Brother Wan, you go and block the last one. Leave this skeleton to me. Jin Xian saw that there was only one blood corpse left, and he attacked the only female cultivator present, Yuan Fengxue. He immediately shouted anxiously, asking 10,000 Swords sect to help Yuan Fengxue. He was prepared to use his own strength to deal with the blood corpse skeleton in front of him. Alright. Take care of yourself. 10,000 Swords sect, who had just attacked the skeleton, immediately prepared to attack the blood corpse that was attacking Yuan Fengxue. At this time, Night Sorrow shouted, Brother Wan, continue to cooperate with Jin Xian. Leave the rest to me. Actually, at this time, Night Sorrow could not even take care of himself. Facing the strongest blood corpse, he was under a lot of pressure and could not spare any energy. But just now, he used the sea serpent eye to see the determination in Jin Xian's eyes. Jin Xian was very likely to sacrifice himself to kill the blood corpse skeleton. Night Sorrow could not accept watching his companion die in battle. After shouting, he used the Divine Origin Trapping Array and the Merit Trapping Array to bind the 2 blood corpses and attract their attention to himself. Then, he used the Void Dragon movement technique to temporarily stall them. Facing the 2 terrifying blood corpses alone, Night Sorrow did not have any power to fight back even though he had a half-step supreme divine artifact in hand. Relying on the power of the golden heavenly halberd and the agility of the void dragon movement technique, he restrained the two blood corpses. At this time, the strength of the attack he was facing was definitely the strongest in his life. These two blood corpses must have been super experts when they were alive. Although the laws and essence of their bodies had all dissipated, their attacks were still very powerful and had vaguely surpassed the sovereign realm. If Knight Sorrow had advanced to the sovereign realm, he would definitely not be afraid of them. But now, he was only an upper divine king and was obviously no match for them. For a time, he was in a very difficult situation. Every breath he took was very difficult. In less than 5 breaths, he was hit twice. While his divine domain was broken, his body was also severely injured. Jin Xian, this is a good opportunity. Quick! Now is the time. At this moment. Kill it. At the same time, the Myriad Sword sect, who had used their strongest technique to temporarily suppress the blood corpse skeleton, suddenly roared and ordered Jin Xian to attack. He was clear that Knight Sorrow was in a very dangerous situation and could be killed at any time. It's coming. Damn blood corpses, go to hell. Supreme Divine Artifact, explode. Jin Xian seized the opportunity and stabbed the half-step Supreme Divine Artifact into the skeleton's mouth, causing the artifact to explode. Boom! Under the huge impact, the blood corpse skeleton was forcibly smashed into pieces. The huge aftershock caused the hearts of the people present to palpitate. As for the huge blood sea, when the divine artifact exploded, it was blasted into a huge wave of blood. Such a huge wave was clearly seen by Ji Feng and the others who were watching from the sidelines. Such power. This is an attack of a certain degree. This blood celestial body is indeed not simple. Uncle's resources were indeed not given in vain. Ji Ling, who was behind Ji Feng, could not help but sigh. She was the cousin of Ji Feng and Ji Yun. She was very strong and was the third strongest person in the Divine Immortal Territories team. It should be that the people of the Divine World Territory could not hold on and have started to fight with their lives on the line. Ji Feng observed for a while and said, "It should be the final battle now. Let's go. Let's kill all the people of the Divine World Territory together and try not to give them the chance to crush their identity plates. Don't worry. Cousin, my secret treasure can temporarily paralyze cultivators. When the battle starts, I will cooperate with you and kill them one by one to avenge Cousin Ji Yun." Chapter 29:17. Cousin Feng asked you to stay behind so that you can kill all the people from the heavenly realm. Ji Feng's eyes flashed fiercely. He then ordered, "Warship, set sail. We want to kill all the inferior cultivators in the heavenly realm." Yes. After Ji Feng gave the order, the warship from the heavenly immortal realm soared into the sky. It flew from the neighboring planet to the blood star where Knight Sorrow and the rest were. At this moment, Yi Shang and the others, who had no idea what was going on, were still fighting desperately with the blood corpses. Earlier, Jin Xian had successfully destroyed one of the blood corpses by detonating his divine artifact. Wan Jianzong had also successfully solved the problem that Knight Sorrow was facing. He had separated the two blood corpses that were chasing after Knight Sorrow. He and Knight Sorrow were fighting one blood corpses each. At this time, Knight Sorrow shouted, "Jin Xian, go help Ziliu and Changtian. Let's see if the three of you can kill one of them quickly. As long as we can kill one more, it will be easy for us." "Okay." Jin Xian replied and went to help Murong Ziliu and Xue Changlin. However, although the three of them quickly performed a joint attack, the strength of their attacks was not enough. They could only injure the blood corpses but could not kill them in a short period of time. At this time, Knight Sorrow, Wan Jianzong, and Xiao Tianxian were having a hard time fighting the blood corpses. Especially Wan Jianzong, who had continuously performed his strongest technique. He could feel that his divine origin energy could not keep up with his consumption. Seeing that the situation was not right, Xue Changtian immediately shouted, "I came here to detonate my divine artifact and kill the blood corpse in front of us." "Okay." We will cooperate with you. Murong Ziliu shouted, and together with Jin Xian, they began to fight the blood corpse in front of Xue Changtian. Supreme Divine Artifact, detonate. After a few breaths, Xue Changtian found an opportunity and successfully used his half-step Supreme Divine Artifact to destroy the blood corpse in front of him. Changtian. Mission accomplished. After killing the blood corpse, Xue Changtian had consumed a lot of his divine origin energy. However, Murong Zhenlu and Jin Xian no longer had any opponents in front of them. They immediately rushed forward and helped Xiao Tianxian block the attacks of the blood corpses. After the three of them had held the blood corpse back for a while, Xue Changtian, who had swallowed some medicinal pellets, had recovered quite a bit of his strength. Immediately, he started to engage the three of them and the blood corpse. At this time, everyone in the god world was in a desperate situation, and their potential was stimulated far beyond normal. After the four of them joined forces, they quickly killed the blood corpse in front of them. By the time the blood corpse in front of them was killed, there were only 3 blood corpses left. The crisis was more than half resolved. We're really lucky. Thanks to Brother Ye's half-step Supreme Divine Artifact, we would have been killed a long time ago. The Myriad Sword sect, whose god essence energy had been depleted, revealed a smile as if he had survived a calamity. At this time, he was no longer able to transform into a sword. His fighting strength had fallen to rock bottom. In fact, he was no longer comparable to the weakest Gold Xian. However, this did not affect the overall situation. After everyone cooperated with Night Sorrow to get rid of the strongest blood corpse, everyone in the god world heaved a sigh of relief. I'm not sure if we will encounter stronger blood corpses after killing the 2 blood corpses in front of us. Yuan Fengxue, who was fighting the blood corpse with injuries, said tiredly. At this time, she had consumed a lot of divine origin energy. She was almost relying on her mental strength to support herself. Don't. At this rate, if there are stronger blood corpses, they should be supreme-level blood corpses. We won't be able to resist them at all. The Myriad Sword sect, who was already exhausted, sighed. His condition was no longer suitable for battle. There shouldn't be any more. There are no more blood corpses near the teleportation portal. There shouldn't be any stronger blood corpses. Using the sea serpent's eye to observe the teleportation portal's location, Night Sorrow said. I hope so. If it comes again, our divine origin energy can't keep up. Xiao Tianxian, who had also consumed a lot of divine origin energy, smiled helplessly. This battle was too difficult. If everyone had not chosen to fight with their backs against the wall at the critical moment, everyone would have exceeded their usual standards and thought of a way to self-destruct their divine artifacts. Otherwise, they would not have been able to resist. Then, with everyone's cooperation, the remaining 2 blood corpses were successfully killed. After the last blood corpse was killed, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. If they were not in the blood sea, even Night Sorrow wanted to lie on the ground and rest for a while. He was already on the verge of death, let alone the others. We have completed an impossible mission. After waiting in the blood sea for a while, they did not see any other blood corpses. The Myriad Sword sect could not help but roar. Everyone else in the protective divine domain laughed as well. Moreover, no one dared to be careless. They quickly swallowed all kinds of elixirs to recover. Yuan Fengxue, Yang Qing, and Nie Zhanglin, who were more seriously injured, went to Night Sorrow's space cave to recover temporarily. Everyone can get closer to the teleportation portal. The force that was restraining us has disappeared. Night Sorrow was the first to recover. When he found that the force that was restraining them had disappeared, he immediately went to the teleportation portal to check it out. When the others had recovered, he quickly summoned them. They had killed 8 blood corpses without any casualties. They had only lost 2 quasi-supreme divine artifacts. This made him very satisfied. The others were the same. Everyone felt that they had survived a disaster. Moreover, after going through a life-and-death battle, their cohesion had increased a lot. Their strength had also increased to a certain extent. This was the reward of going through a life-and-death battle. I have checked it. The teleportation portal can be used. However, I am not sure where it will teleport us. Night Sorrow, who had checked the teleportation portal 3 times, said. Then, he asked everyone. Everyone has almost recovered. Should we use the teleportation portal? Of course. Of course we should use it. Didn't we risk our lives to get closer to the teleportation portal? Hearing this, the Myriad Sword sect immediately shouted. At this time, he had completely recovered. However, he could not use his bloodline talent for a short period of time. His strength had been affected to a certain extent. The others' choice was the same as the Myriad Sword sect. No one wanted to stay on the blood celestial body. Okay. Come up, I will activate the teleportation portal. Seeing that everyone nodded in agreement, Night Sorrow took out some eternal divine crystals and activated the teleportation portal. As the light beam descended from the sky, they instantly disappeared from the bottom of the sea. When they reappeared, Night Sorrow and the others found themselves in the void. Under the void, there was also an endless blood sea. Just as everyone was surprised, Night Sorrow saw a huge floating battleship in the clouds. This battleship was made of unknown material. It was completely black and looked very old. It was probably a product of ancient times. Looking down and then at the void, Night Sorrow judged, I think this battleship is very likely the reward for defeating the blood corpses. If there are no accidents, it can take us away from this celestial body. I hope so. Let's go up and give it a try. I really don't want to stay on this damn blood celestial body for a moment. After following Night Sorrow onto the battleship, the Myriad Sword sect said. At this time, not only him, but the others were also in a hurry to leave. Chapter 29:18. Where did this battleship come from? Is it someone from another territory or is it another test we need to take? When the huge battleship floated over, Thousand Sword Sect, who wanted to leave the blood-colored star, immediately said helplessly. He did not want to continue to be tested by the blood-colored star because the battle just now was already so difficult. If something else came, it would really be fatal. It's someone from the Celestial Immortal Territory. I saw Ji Feng from the Celestial Immortal Territory. Everyone, be careful and prepare for battle. He's definitely not here with good intentions. Night Sorrow, who had opened the eye of the sea serpent, saw Ji Feng's figure on the battleship. He knew that it was not as simple as a coincidence that Ji Feng appeared here. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Jin Xian immediately frowned and said, this Ji Feng just finished showing off in the celestial realm. It's definitely not a coincidence that he appeared near us now. I think that our teleportation to the blood-colored star is related to the Celestial Immortal Territory. The Celestial Immortal Territory has so much power to arrange our landing location. Although Night Sorrow also had doubts in his heart, he felt that the Celestial Immortal Territory should not have such great power. Naturally, they don't have such great power, but they can bribe people from the top 10 territories and let them tamper with it. The top 10 territories in the first and second round of competition have the ability to control it. Jin Xian explained. The Golden Crow had told him about this before. I see. Hearing Jin Xian's explanation, not only Night Sorrow understood. The others also immediately figured out what was going on. Without a doubt, the appearance of the Celestial Immortal Territory here was definitely not as simple as a coincidence. They were definitely premeditated to deal with the Celestial Realm. So it's those bastards from the Celestial Immortal Territory who are targeting us. They caused us to fall into this blood-colored star and almost killed us. We must not let them have an easy time. After roughly guessing what was going on, Thousand Swords Sect immediately became angry. He looked at Night Sorrow and said, Brother Yi, look at how many people are on their battleship. Let's attack and destroy them directly. Take revenge for being framed. Yes. They caused us to lose 2 half-step supreme artifacts and almost eliminated us. We must take revenge. Yuan Fengxue also said in Night Sorrow's Grotto Heaven. Although she had not fully recovered from her injuries, she still wanted to fight. Everyone else's attitude was basically the same, which was to fight. He had to make the people in the celestial immortal territory pay the price. Alright, since everyone wants to fight. In that case, let's have a casual battle and annihilate the celestial immortals team. Knight Sorrow nodded and agreed to everyone's request for battle. He then observed the battleships of the celestial immortals territory. There are more than 20 sovereigns on their warship. 5 of them had the power of a higher hegemon. The rest were middle and lower level sovereigns. Other than Ji Feng, who was surprisingly strong, there was also a woman beside him who was quite strong. It would be slightly rash of us to make a move. However, it doesn't mean that we don't have the strength to fight. There are more than 20 sovereigns. It's going to be difficult for one person to deal with 2 or 3 of them. But he still had to fight. We have to make them understand that there is no good ending for those who dare to mess with the God realm. After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, Master Wan Jian's body exploded with endless battle intent. The rest of the people were more or less the same. Good. Then let's fight. Their aura is far inferior to the blood corpses. They shouldn't be a match for us. Observing the celestial immortals territory through the battleship's formation, Knight Sorrow said to everyone, then suddenly wondered, they don't seem to be able to see us? I wonder if it's a trick or something. Standing on the dark battleship, they could clearly see the enemy's battleship. But Knight Sorrow discovered that the people on the celestial immortals territory's battleship did not even lock their gazes on their battleship. This was obviously a little strange. Logically speaking, if they really wanted to deal with the God Realm's people, they could just swarm them when they saw them. With more than 20 sovereigns, there was no reason for them to resort to tricks. No matter if it's a trick or not, we'll just attack directly. Everyone, get ready. Don't use the half-step supreme artifact in your hands, just use the sovereign artifact in combination with the joint attack technique. Master Wan Jian, who had taken out a long sword, said and took the lead to launch a probing attack on the celestial immortals territory's battleship. Even Master Wan Jian moved. The others naturally couldn't just watch. Even the few people who were recuperating in Knight Sorrow's grotto heaven came out and followed. They were prepared to completely annihilate the celestial immortals territory's people. However, when Master Wan Jian's sword light bombarded the celestial immortals territory's battleship, the God Realm's people were shocked to find that his sword light pierced through the air. That feeling was like piercing through a mirage, directly piercing through it. The celestial immortals territory's battleship was like an illusion, he didn't attack it at all. Brother Yi, what do you think is going on? After Master Wan Jian pierced through the air, the others' attacks also all missed, they didn't hit the celestial immortals territory's battleship at all. They were all astonished, Murong Ji Lu asked doubtfully. At this moment, they were somewhat puzzled, what the hell is going on? I'm not sure either, everyone observed them. Knight Sorrow said and once again caught up with the battleship, floating on top of the battleship, he observed the people on the battleship. After observing for a while, he confirmed that this is definitely the celestial immortals territory's battleship. Moreover, Ji Feng and the others are all real, it's just that they don't seem to be in the same space as them. But because of the characteristics of space, they can see the celestial immortals territory's people, but the other party can't see them at all. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow suddenly came to a realization and said with a smile, I seem to have understood something. The celestial immortals territory's people should be the same as us, they came to the Blood Star and were trapped. They should be like us, they must find the teleportation array and pass through the checkpoint, only then can they successfully leave. Ha ha ha. If that's the case, then it's interesting. They really can't bear the evil that they brought upon themselves. Xuechang Tian, who was also observing the celestial immortals territory's people, suddenly laughed loudly. The other celestial realms people's expression is also extremely playful, they are completely clear how difficult it is to deal with those blood corpses. Soon after, they all began to observe the celestial immortals territory's movements. Just as Knight Sorrow thought, the the Celestial Immortals Territories people soon found themselves trapped in the Blood Star, and like headless flies, they began to look for a way out. After a long time, they finally dived into the Blood Sea. When the other party dived into the Blood Sea, Night Sorrow and the others who still had lingering fear did not continue to follow and observe. However, about 4 hours later, the Blood Sea began to tremble violently. Very obviously, the Celestial Immortals Territories people also encountered the same test as the Celestial Realms people. Seeing this scene, Thousand Sword Sect suddenly laughed and said, "Haha. They really lifted a rock and smashed it on their own feet. Brother Yi, what do you think we should do next?" Chapter 29:19. Yes. Brother Yi, what do you think we should do? Jin Xian also asked. Unknowingly, everyone had completely regarded Night Sorrow as their leader. They were used to asking for his opinion first. Seeing everyone's gaze on his face, Night Sorrow revealed a smile on his face. He looked at the Blood Sea and said, "It's definitely not a coincidence that Celestial Immortals territory appeared here. Moreover, there's still about 100 years until the end of the battle for Providence. We're not in a hurry to leave and fight. Therefore, we can set up a formation in this void. If they can succeed, do you understand what I mean?" Understood. Of course. We must let those people from the heavenly immortal territory understand what it means to bring evil upon oneself is the hardest to bear. Thousand Sword Master's murderous aura soared into the sky as he said this with a rather imposing manner. Next, I'll set up a formation. Everyone, quickly recover and then wait for the exhausted. If they can successfully leave the Blood Sea, they'll most likely appear here. At that time, we'll kill all of them. Let them understand that our Celestial Realm territory is not to be targeted by anyone. Night Sorrow instructed and began to set up the formation. He felt that the people of Celestial Immortals territory could crush their nameplates and leave, but they must not slip away in front of them. At this time, Xiao Tianxian added, "On the warship just now, there should be more than 20 Celestial Immortals territory cultivators. This is clearly not everyone in the Celestial Immortals territory. We need to be prepared. If there are others in their space grotto heaven. If the number reaches 40 or 50, then will be really difficult to deal with. However, that's under normal circumstances. As long as they enter my formation, they have no chance of winning." Originally, Night Sorrow only planned to set up a simple trap formation, but after Xiao Tianxian finished speaking, he immediately put more thought into the formation. By the time Night Sorrow finished setting up the formation, everyone had more or less recovered in the formation. After waiting for half a month on the Black Warship, the people of Celestial Immortals territory had yet to come out. However, the Blood Sea was still surging with huge waves. Obviously, the battle was still ongoing. Night Sorrow and the rest completely repaired the Black Warship and studied how it sailed. They gave it a new name. Rising God. It meant the rise of the God Realm. Whether or not the territory of the God Realm can rise to power depends on the 9 of us. In this battle of Providence, we must not only successfully advance to the final. He had to get a good result in the finals. Our goal is not only to advance to the top 1,000, but also to stay at the front as much as possible. After praising the name Night Sorrow, Master Wan Jian said in high spirits. In the first and second round of the competition, there weren't many strong territories. And after advancing to the finals, no matter what the rules are, we may encounter a territory that is too strong to fight against. What happened in the Celestial Immortals territory today was a wake-up call for us. Some processes in the Battle of Providence can be manipulated. Night Sorrow explained after hearing the 10,000 Swords Sect's words. Right now, my territory in the Celestial Realm has only advanced to the second round, so it hasn't attracted the attention of other territories yet. When we advance to the finals of the Battle of Providence, it's absolutely impossible for those dominions that once attacked us not to deal with us. Therefore, with our current strength, it's simply not enough. Everyone must improve their strength by one step within 100 years. At most, each of us can advance to upper-level Dominator. It's not easy to improve qualitatively. Yuan Fengshua looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Why don't we do our best to help you advance to the Dominator realm? At the upper-level Divine King realm, you can fight an upper-level Dominator. If you can advance to the Dominator realm, you might be able to fight against some powerful Dominators. I feel that this is the only way our territory in the Celestial realm can stand firm in the finals." At this point, Yuan Fengshua looked at everyone and said, "What do you all think?" Yes, what Fengshua said makes sense. It's very difficult for our strength to improve greatly in a short 100 years, but Brother Yi is different. As long as he advances from the Divine King realm to the Dominator realm, his strength will increase by 1 level. Master Wan Jian agreed after Yuan Fengshua finished speaking. Within 100 years, if they plundered enough laws and essence, everyone present could advance to the upper-level Dominator realm. There would be some improvement, but it was still an advancement. But Night Sorrow was completely different. He was advancing, and his strength would increase by a large margin. Good. Then from now on, let's let Night Sorrow absorb all the laws and essence we obtain and strive to advance to the Dominator realm within 100 years. Xiao Tianxian also looked at Night Sorrow in agreement. At this moment, Night Sorrow said, "Everyone, there's no need to do this. Night Sorrow's advancement will greatly increase his strength. This is a fact. However, Night Sorrow's speed of absorbing laws and essence is limited. If we obtain large amounts of resources, we still need to distribute them properly and strive to let everyone advance to the peak of the Dominator realm. That's fine too. However, no matter what, we have to be the first to obtain large amounts of resources." Master Wan Jian nodded and said, "Then we have to make the best use of our time. Even if we have enmity with the Celestial realm, we can't keep waiting here. How about this, we'll wait for them for half a year. If they don't come out in half a year, we'll take the battleship out to battle. They clearly came from other celestial bodies, so the second round should be the celestial body battle." Good. Then it's decided. With regards to Master Wan Jian's decision, Night Sorrow expressed his agreement. However, they couldn't just wait idly on the battleship. The 9 of them once again split into 3 groups and practiced the 3-3 joint attack formation. After 3 months of practice, they had already thoroughly mastered the art of joint attack. Similarly, they had also completely mastered the joint attack formation of 9 people. In the process of cooperation, the 9 of them gradually gained a deeper understanding of each other. The 9 of them from the Celestial realm seemed to have become a whole, and their cohesion had greatly increased. After completely mastering the joint attack formation, everyone rested on the rising god for a short while before continuing to wait for the people from the Celestial realm. In the next few months, the battle at the bottom of the sea did not stop. However, as they waited for close to 5 months, the battle in the Blood Sea became more and more intense. It was as if the entire Blood Celestial realm was about to be shattered. This level of battle was much more intense than the battle that Night Sorrow and the others fought. Clearly, the opponents they encountered were much stronger than the ones from the Celestial realm. Everyone was very curious as to what the people from the Celestial realm had encountered. Let me see what's going on down there. Chapter 29-20. For the past few months, Night Sorrow would occasionally open the Sea Serpent's Eye to see if the battle was still ongoing. He would not open it during normal times to avoid unnecessary consumption. The battle this time was too intense, and it immediately attracted his attention. After observing for a while, Night Sorrow frowned and said, "There are 11 people left in the Divine Immortal territory, and they are facing 2 blood corpses. If there are no accidents, these 2 blood corpses will be killed very soon. Let's get ready. This might be the last wave they will encounter. Alright. Should we use our half-step Supreme Divine Artifacts?" Hearing Night Sorrow's words, everyone began to make preparations. Murongguizhi asked as he was not sure. "Take them. Those with half-step Supreme Divine Artifacts, get ready. Try to kill them in 1 blow. Brother Yi has already set up a formation, and none of them will be able to escape. In the second round, we are not afraid that the half-step Supreme Divine Artifacts will be leaked." After Murongguizhi spoke, Wan Jianzong immediately said gloomily. Xiao Tianxian, who was emitting a murderous aura, said at this time, "It doesn't matter if we don't attack, but once we attack, try to kill them as quickly as possible to prevent one of them from crushing their identity plates and revealing that we have a large number of half-step supreme divine artifacts." "All right. We won't show any mercy to those who set us up," Yuan Fengxue said coldly. After everyone was in position, Night Sorrow added, "When the battle starts, immediately use the formation and don't give them any chance. I don't want to see anyone die in the Divine World territory." "All right. The 9 of us will advance and retreat together." Jin Xian smiled. Although he had already detonated his half-step supreme divine artifact, he was not worried about his own safety. At this time, under the leadership of Ji Feng, the Divine Immortal Territory's people successfully defeated the last 2 blood corpses. After killing the 2 blood corpses, Ji Feng let out a long breath and said, "We should be able to leave this place now, right? I didn't expect the Blood Star's test to be so difficult that we lost so many people. This Blood Star is indeed terrifying. I wonder if those people from the Divine World Territory have successfully left." While walking towards the teleportation array, Ji Feng's cousin, Ji Ling, frowned. Having fought to such an extent, every single person in the Heavenly Immortal Territory was physically and mentally exhausted. Moreover, even the medicinal pills in their possession had been almost completely consumed. It could be seen how intense the battles had been in the past few months. This place is so terrifying. What kind of strength do we have to pay such a high price to successfully reach the teleportation array? Those trash from the divine world must have fallen and sunk into the depths of the blood sea like those blood corpses. Ji Feng's injuries weren't too serious, but his energy was exhausted as he spoke with an unruly expression. He didn't even put the people of the divine world in his eyes. At this time, Ji Ling, who had finished inspecting the transportation array, looked at Ji Feng and asked, "Cousin, there's no problem with the transportation array. It should be able to transport us out of the blood sea. Should we recover first before going out, or should we leave directly?" "Recover what? This place is already so scary. If an even scarier group of blood corpses appears later, we won't even have a place to cry. Everyone, get into the teleportation array. We're leaving now." Ji Feng grumbled before taking the lead to step onto the teleportation array. "I'm afraid that we'll run into people from other territories when we go out. I can't fight in my current state." Ji Ling saw that Ji Feng wasn't too happy and immediately explained, "Let's talk about it after we teleport out." Ji Feng didn't listen to Ji Ling's advice. When the remaining 10 cultivators from the Divine Immortal Territory had all boarded the teleportation array, he immediately used the Eternal God Crystal to activate it. After a moment, they were teleported into the array that Night Sorrow had set up. At the same time, a black battleship appeared in the void. This battleship was obviously a reward for the people of the Divine Immortal Territory. However, when they saw the light of day again, before they had time to inspect the battleship, they discovered Night Sorrow and the rest. "It's you. The trash from the divine world. You guys actually came out too." When Ji Feng saw Night Sorrow clearly, his face was filled with disbelief. In an instant, he began to regret not listening to Ji Ling and recovering properly inside. Who's the genius and who's the trash? We'll have a conclusion soon. Night Sorrow's face revealed a trace of a smile. At this time, the people of the Divine Immortal Territory were almost exhausted and had no strength left to fight. There were only 2 results waiting for them. One was to be killed by the people of the Divine World. The other was to crush their identity nameplates and give up on this battle for Providence. Bastard! If it weren't for the fact that we were exhausted to this extent, you guys from the Divine World would also be able to do whatever you want. Although Ji Feng was dissatisfied with his words, he actually sent a voice transmission to everyone in the Divine Immortal Territory to hold their identity nameplates in their hands. They were ready to give up at any time. Hee hee. It seems that you guys are very unwilling. Night Sorrow sneered and said, "If I'm not wrong, you guys were originally prepared to wait for us to exhaust ourselves to a certain extent before surrounding and killing us, right? Now that things have developed to this extent, it's called good and evil retribution. Humph. So what if I am? All of you from the divine world deserve to die. It's a pity that I, Ji Feng, am a little unlucky. I can't kill you with my own hands. Ji Feng roared with a gloomy expression. He was very unwilling to accept the fact that things had developed to this extent. He was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. At this time, Night Sorrow smiled again and asked, "Do you think that you guys can be our match after recovering?" "Why? You're prepared to give us a chance to recover." Hearing Night Sorrow's words, before Ji Feng could answer, Ji Ling answered. After saying that, she continued, "I heard that although you guys from the divine world aren't very strong, you guys are still trustworthy. Since you've expressed your intention, you won't regret it, right? You're really twisting words and forcing logic. However, what's the harm in letting you guys recover?" Night Sorrow glanced at everyone in disdain and said sarcastically, "If any of you dare to destroy your identity nameplate and fight to the death, I can let him recover. One-on-one or group battle, it's up to you. How about it?" "Humph. If you guys from the divine world dare to swear, Ji Feng will be the first to throw away my identity nameplate." Ji Feng, who was originally very unwilling, immediately became spirited when he heard Night Sorrow's words. In fact, the other people from the divine immortal territory were the same. No one was willing to accept the fate of being eliminated the moment they entered the ancient battlefield. "So what if I swear? I, Night Sorrow, swear in the name of the divine world that as long as anyone from the divine immortal territory dares to throw away their identity nameplates, we will fight to the death. None of us from the divine world territory will make a move first. Otherwise, the divine world territory will be destroyed immediately." Night Sorrow looked at Ji Feng and swore word by word. He cultivated the power of virtue, but he did not hesitate to take revenge. The other party was his enemy, so he was not prepared to show mercy. Chapter 29-21. Good. 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 Very good. Today, I, Ji Feng, have a whole new level of respect for your heavenly realm territory. After Night Sorrow made his vow, the other heavenly realm people also repeated it. Ji Feng's face suddenly revealed a sinister smile. He first said politely, then said, "But you are too arrogant today, and you will pay the price for it. Everyone in the heavenly immortal territory, listen up. Use your fastest speed to recover your strength." "Yes. Young Master Feng." Originally, they thought that they would have to crush their nameplates and return to the heavenly immortal territory, but now, they did not hesitate to recover their strength on the heavenly immortal territory's battleship. Everyone, including Ji Ling, had the same mentality. They felt that the heavenly realm territory was letting the tiger return to the mountain. They were tigers that could tear the other party apart. As long as they recovered, they could win. Until now. None of the cultivators in the heavenly immortal territory thought highly of the heavenly realm territory. Even the most cautious Ji Ling did not take Night Sorrow and the others seriously. If you want to make the heavenly realm territory pay the price, you need to be strong. Let's wait and see. After speaking to Ji Feng, Night Sorrow transmitted to the heavenly immortal territory people, saying, when the array is activated, their strength will be weakened by a lot. However, the people in the heavenly immortal territory are all good at using swords, and can form a very powerful sword array. Everyone, remember what we have practiced. Try to break their sword array as soon as possible. While waiting for the heavenly immortal territory people, Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to observe their sword array. He also let the heavenly realm people practice how to break it. Don't worry. Their sword array is dead, but our combined attack array is alive. We will definitely succeed in breaking them. Myriad Sword Master said fiercely. Jin Xian also said with killing intent, Brother Yi, don't worry. The time to prove the heavenly realm territory has come. We will explode with our greatest potential. All these years, the heavenly realm territory had been too weak, and it made the heavenly realm people very angry. Everyone wanted to prove themselves. Moreover, the Heavenly Immortal Territory people did not take them seriously when facing the Heavenly Realm Territory people. This made the Heavenly Realm cultivators extremely angry. While waiting, Night Sorrow explained the strategy to them. At the same time, after some discussion, they decided to use their strongest techniques, joint attack formations, and half-step supreme divine artifacts. His goal was to break down the enemy's resistance as soon as possible under the powerful attack. That's the basic situation. Everyone, prepare for battle. By the time the Celestial Immortals had finished discussing their strategy, the Celestial Immortals had almost fully recovered. Night Sorrow looked at the enemy in front of him and said. Although he cultivated the power of virtue, he had never been soft-hearted when dealing with ruthless enemies. The people from the Celestial Immortal Territory had caused them to fall into the Blood Sea astral body and almost lost their lives there. This was a great enmity of life and death. We've recovered. People of the divine world, prepare to die. After everyone in the Heavenly Immortal Domain recovered, Ji Feng's body instantly exploded with a powerful killing intent. He was completely different from how he was a moment ago. Kill! 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 The other people from the Celestial Immortal Domain shouted the word, kill, in unison. At this time, Night Sorrow sneered. It seems like you haven't thrown away your identity nameplates. Are you afraid that you can't escape after losing the battle, so you're shamelessly leaving a way out? It doesn't matter if we throw it away or not. We don't need it anyway. Ji Feng's face revealed a disdainful smile. Obviously, the people from the Celestial Immortal Domain were not going to throw away their identity nameplates. This was completely shameless. Alright. In that case, it doesn't matter if you throw it away or not. The people from the Celestial Immortal Domain went back on their words. The Celestial Immortal Domain people were very angry, but Night Sorrow calmed down. Although he was angry at the other party's actions, he had the ability to deal with it. Of course it doesn't matter. For dead people like you, it doesn't matter if we throw away our identity nameplates or not. Ji Feng said with a fake smile. Then he shouted, Celestial Immortal Domain people, kill them. Yes. At the same time, the people from the Celestial Immortal Domain people all pulled out the long swords at their waists. Their weapons were all silver longswords, but each longsword had a different pattern on it. The craftsmanship was very delicate. After they pulled out their swords, they immediately formed a sword formation and charged towards the Celestial Immortal Domain people. 10 people, standing in 10 different positions, waved their longswords together, as if forming a sharp picture scroll, and attacked the people from the Celestial Immortal Domain people. Hee. This is a territorial secret technique that was comprehended from the Celestial Immortal painting. Your Celestial Immortal Domain people's inheritance has been cut off long ago. You are simply powerless to resist. Ji Feng, who was at the center of the formation, had a face full of superiority. And the inheritance of the Celestial Immortal Domain was indeed as he said. Back then, it was taken away by a powerful domain. Even if the inheritance was taken away, my Celestial Immortal Domain is not something that trash like you can look down on. Hearing Ji Feng mention the humiliation of the Celestial Immortal Domain people, Master Wan Jian immediately took out his divine artifact. What's the use of such fancy tricks? Xiao Tianxian, who had not spoken for a long time, also spoke at this time. Night Sorrow, on the other hand, sent a telepathic message to everyone. Remember the main points of our practice. Go. Kill. Just as Night Sorrow's voice fell, the 9 people from the Celestial Immortal Domain once again divided into 3 groups and used a joint attack technique. And on top of that, they formed a joint attack formation. The sword formation of the Celestial Immortal Domain people had long been studied by Night Sorrow using the Sea Serpent's Eye. But the joint attack formation of the Celestial Immortal Domain people was something that Ji Feng and the others from the Celestial Immortal Domain had never seen before. For a moment, they, who originally had an infinite sense of superiority in their hearts, were flabbergasted. They felt that although their sword formation was exquisite, it was obvious that every move was targeted. And soon, Ji Feng and Ji Ling discovered that most of the people from the celestial immortal domain people had half-step supreme divine artifacts in their hands. The gap between the two sides in terms of divine artifacts was like a ravine between heaven and earth. If this battle continued, the celestial immortal domain people would not stand a chance at all. This is not good. The celestial immortal domain is much stronger than we thought. Everyone, crush the identity plates in your hands, or we will all die here. Less than 15 minutes into the battle, Ji Feng helplessly gave the order. He was so indignant that he almost broke his teeth from clenching them. But in the face of the joint attack formation of the celestial immortal domain, there was nothing he could do. Now you understand that you are just a frog at the bottom of a well, right? We haven't even activated the formation, and you guys are already done for. Master Wan Jian mocked disdainfully when he heard Ji Feng's shout. At this time, not only him, but the other cultivators from the celestial immortal domain also felt a sense of exaltation.